Okay, so we are now in that zone where we will have an inspection. The inspection was scheduled at 8 p.m. IST. Richard Kettlebrough is already inspecting. I think the other one's Ruchira Palyaguru.
How different does Richard Kettlebrough look without his hat?
Yeah, he
I
does
can't recognize him without the hat.
Exactly.
No, I can never forget his face. With a hat, without hair, without anything.
I wonder why.
Exactly. Each ICC event. And okay.
I remember doing a shot on the fact that whenever, before the 2023 final, that whenever he's been there, we have ended up losing the game in a knockout stage. And I was and I even said in that, if I remember correctly, that this time how things are turning out, it might change. But it really didn't.
So, all right, there is still those heavy machines that are there.
No, but it looks better today. Yesterday,
No.
the football like literally.
But going by their faces, I think things don't look promising in.
Because see, that wet patch, I mean, it reminds me of that 2016 situation in Trinidad, okay? It had poured prior to the game, 2 days there was a game, and then after that it poured. But then despite that bright sunshine,
There was no match for the remainder
of the 3 days, because what had happened is the underlying surface that was there, it had gotten so wet. Even if you had covered the entire ground, you had hundreds of super servers, they still could not have been able, because it's a sand-based thing.
Yeah.
For all the viewers who aren't aware of it, Siddharth is talking about an India-West Indies test match
at
which
Trinidad.
took place in 2016.
And if you will remember, there were 2 matches which were impacted in a similar way. Trinidad, India, West Indies at Port of Spain, and the other one, South Africa, New Zealand in Durban.
Yeah.
Both had gotten heavy rain, and because of that, because the water content in that particular part of the ground or at the venue is so high, it doesn't allow you to dry that easily also. And sand base takes a lot of time because it becomes clayish, and also because of the fact that, okay, you need sunshine, you need natural hot sunshine to dry the ground, but you've not had that.
You haven't had that for days at this point, because Florida as a state, I'm not even talking Lauderhill, Florida as a whole has been reeling under severe rain. In fact, I was going through some weather sites, and I was checking what this thing looks like. For all days this week, there's been a potential lookout for floods.
Yeah.
Which in itself means that if it's not raining now, there is every chance it will be raining later, and that really then draws into focus what exactly the planning was, because normally speaking, this is the rainy time in
The Caribbean and the US at this point, hurricane season.
Yeah, exactly. It's hurricane season. Why wouldn't it have just made sense to have these matches happen in Florida first up, avoid the rainy season, then in the second half go to New York? I don't understand the planning, and it's left you in a situation wherein Pakistan have gotten knocked out thanks in no small part to a ball not being bowled in a game that didn't even involve them.
In fact, I think all the 2 games that have happened here, not a single ball's been bowled. Sri Lanka, Nepal was abandoned in Lauderhill. Now, USA, Ireland, now even this India versus Canada game looks to be in serious peril at this point.
Because that's the thing. It's all down to just that 1 or 2 dry patches, right? If it really comes down to just that, and I know today's game has a longer grace period, which is in itself something that really it's a point of consternation. Let's put it that way.
So maybe the technology in Lauderhill, Florida Stadium is not really that advanced. That if it had to rain for the few matches that were scheduled to be held on different dates, there wasn't really backup, or as we say that there wasn't even backup ka backup too.
And in this case, it really baffles the mind. Why? Because there is one very basic thing that every ground in the world can do, which would not require any sort of technology. Cover the whole outfield.
Eden Gardens, Kolkata, best example.
Sri Lanka.
They took it from Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
They borrowed that concept from Sri Lanka. It was Saurav Ganguly, who is a very good, big proponent of that, because he said, yeah, it makes perfect sense. Why not just cover the whole outfield? Why do you need to just cover one strip?
That's the thing. See,
Also even Nikhil sir in the live we did with the update a few minutes back, half an hour back. In that also, I think he was mentioning something that I was listening to, that the fact that the people deployed to actually cover the ground and the ground staff is way lesser than that should be on an international ground. And this is not a makeshift arrangement. This is the only proper stadium they actually have.
Yep.
Lauderhill, and up till recently, I think they had Dallas also.
Grand Prairie, Dallas.
Yeah, but other than that, if you're looking at Dallas, also became a proper venue only maybe a couple of years back.
MLC.
MLC came into play. Yes. Beyond that, Lauderhill was really the only one, and the amount of ground stuff they have is negligible. But should you blame Lauderhill? Or do you blame the organization here that decided to assign matches to such grounds, knowing full well that cricket is not a sport that majority of them even bother taking seriously?
No, but still, I don't know. I'd still blame the USA, the organization, more than the organization, them also, because this is the only. See, in New York, I would have understood if this would have been the situation there, because that would have been a makeshift arrangement. This is a proper cricket ground that stays all throughout the year.
But how
Okay,
many
so
matches are going to be played there?
Before we continue further, there is an update from Kettleborough and Sharfadullah, not Chirapalli Gurge, it's Sharfadullah, the umpire. They still are indicating that the conditions underneath are very soft.
Oh.
And that means it is not dried out yet. And Mike Haseman, who was there on air on comms, stated that yes, when he was walking, the grass was still sticking onto his shoes.
Okay.
So that is why it is still the pitch and squares, they are having a chat. You know what the problem is? The problem is that there is no natural sunshine.
And also, I think what the base of the ground is made of, like you mentioned,
Sand.
that also depends a lot in such situations. And the main thing is that if it would have been covered, if the whole ground would have been covered, that would have been better. But also the base, what it's made of, that is also playing a part over here.
Yep.
And yesterday was, I think, a different situation. It was a match that had lots of consequences attached to it.
Yep.
That's why they had to wait so much. And
Now
we're
the
going
next
to-
inspection is at 9 p.m. IST. You are going down the USA-Ireland route at this point in time. And I don't understand in 1 hour what will change unless the machines do their work.
Yes.
If the machines do their work, then you have a bit of time. But still, if it's 9 p.m. IST, you're still not losing overs.
Yes, you'll start losing overs after 9:30 p.m. IST, and I think at max you can have a 5-over game which can probably begin around 11:45.
11:45 p.m. IST is when you can have a five over an affair game, and because the grace periods that are there, I mean, this is the very odd and you may say a ridiculous rule that the ICC have gotten the playing conditions. Certain games will have only a 90-minute extension period, but some games will have only a 60-minute extension
No,
period.
let's not beat around the bush. So it's not certain games, it's India games.
No, even USA Ireland had to have 90 minutes.
Yep.
Why? Because they were the hosts? Who cares about cricket in that country?
I know.
Except for expatriates, no one. Most Americans didn't know that a sport called cricket existed. They found out about it when USA beat Pakistan.
Yeah.
So I don't quite understand this logic. Why are you giving certain games 90 minutes? Why are you giving certain games 60 minutes? Why not have a modicum or shred of consistency? How hard is it? Look, we understand ICC that having a World Cup every year has basically become a reality because
ICC
of your
event.
an ICC event, whether it be
Champions
ODI
Trophy,
World Cup,
T20.
T20 World Cup, Champions Trophy. You're having a WTC every 2 years. It is one giant money-making excuse. We get that. We get that you want to drain every little bit of revenue that you can out of the game. We get that too. But why have this 90-minute, 60-minute rule? Please, at least have some sort of a pretense that there is a sport here that is being governed by consistent rules. India, Pakistan had such a long grace period. Why? Because it was your cash cow. We get that. But if there's no match happening, keep a reserve.
But there is
game.
no consistency because for international grounds, there's a specific set of rules that you need to have. Those are also not followed here. So that is definitely not there. The ICC, all they wanted was that I think more than the reason that they wanted to reach the USA audience, yeah, that was one reason. But I also think the other reason was the fact that how big the World Cup will become as soon as now that we have seen the game and the conditions and everything. But before that, even for us, it was really fascinating. Just the fact that we are going to be seeing India Pakistan in New York. So that just to sell it also, that was also a very big thing. A lot of people talked about this. Before this, we usually don't talk about where India Pakistan is going to play. But this time we were talking about it because it was New York. So I think that is also one reason why they actually moved the whole world and wanted to have it in New York.
And certain teams.
Now we don't have that hype because we have seen what the conditions were, how the match turned out to be. But I think that was also a very big reason.
And certain teams in that case had to hardly travel between their group stage matches. And then there was Sri Lanka
and
who
Pakistan.
literally had to travel a
Pakistan's
lot in
hotel was
between their
changed.
group stage matches. Even Hasaranga made a comment on that.
Yeah,
I know Tikshana did for sure.
Tikshana did definitely, but even Pakistan, if they were there and throughout the entirety of the T20 World Cup, they were traveling 4,500 miles.
Yeah, but in New York also they had before the India game they had put out a request that where our hotel is really far away from from the ground, and that was eventually shifted.
Yeah, but then that is I think a mistake that the PCB and the ICC have made in the coordination bit. They didn't coordinate that well, and they got the hotel which was the farthest. Sri Lanka also same. See, ICC takes care of the accommodation and all the logistics and that thing. It was an ICC event.
Yeah.
But somewhere down the line, the boards also have to understand that, boss, how far is it from the venue? Please coordinate with us accordingly. And I think that coordination just didn't happen.
A lot of these things matter with respect to the broader picture,
Yep.
for the fitness of the players, for the, I would say, the rest for the players, not just at a physical level but at the mental level also, that how much you are rested, how well you have slept, whether you have eaten well or not, and you know the time that you take to reach the stadium from your current hotel.
Yep.
I think these things do play a lot on their minds.
No, these things definitely play a role. I know that at junior level and at age group cricket, maybe at the IPL also for some players it doesn't. But when you are talking about international cricket and international game, these are the small margins that actually make you better and win you games on the day. So these small things are the exactly reasons that teams actually don't win the game or lose the game or whatever that is. I remember once during some test series, Virat actually offered his business class tickets to fast bowlers also during one series. So all these small things really matter.
And you're talking about, all of these things. I remember reading a report, and this is in relation to the kind of conditions you have. Reading a report that Lionel Messi and Argentina were basically training in Florida because, of course, he's based in Florida now. He plays for Inter Miami. But not just because of that, they were also having friendly matches there in their last-minute preparations for the Copa America.
Yeah.
Ahead of the recent match that they had, they had to cancel training in Florida because the conditions were that bad. Now imagine rain being so bad that football training had to be called off. Football is a sport that can very much be played in the rain.
Correct.
But it was so bad that it was deemed unsafe, and people said that, listen, we don't want our players getting injured. So they had to cancel the practice. That is how bad things have been.
Yeah, and see, the problem is you are expecting one bout of rain in the next 2 hours. If it rains,
then forget about having a
then
match.
forget about it. Because yesterday what happened when USA-Ireland was going on, suddenly there was an evacuation. Okay, there was lightning, thunder and all that. After that, it pelted down.
And also that evacuation thing is funny you mention it, because I was at a family function yesterday, and one of those relatives actually did mention to me that he had gone to Lauderhill to watch a match a couple of years back, and over there also that match happened to get washed out. And he said that, listen, over there we were told very clearly that once the evacuation started, we're looking up and saying, listen, there's nothing on the radar. You don't see any rain, you don't see any major clouds, but we were told evacuate, get out, just forget about it. And then 5-10 minutes after we evacuated, he said it pelted so bad they couldn't see out of their own cars.
Yeah.
It was that bad. So if there is an evacuation sign that comes over there, you best believe that it is very, 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 let's say, real. It's something that they knew, they predict very nicely. And yesterday it was that one last bout of rain that really just did everyone.
And that too, it wasn't just drizzle. It was a steady monsoon hurricane-like downpour.
And that's what I'm saying. There was flood alerts. There's flood alerts this whole week in Florida.
Yeah.
And I
So
think this
that is
match,
why
India versus Canada, may not hold that big relevance with respect to the Super 8 qualification.
Yeah.
But there's one more match tonight between England and Namibia in North-South Antigua. If that results in a washout, then England, the defending champions of World T20, they'll be knocked out.
they'll be knocked out. Because see, in Antigua, the weather is also not that good for the afternoon.
Yes.
But it's only 30%, 40% chances of rain. So I think you might scrape through if you want to.
Yeah, you might get, I think, a truncated game, but you could very well get a game. Which I still can't say safely about the India-Canada.
See, because today Group B will be decided. Who's B1, that will be decided, because if England beat Namibia, it doesn't depend upon the margin or anything in that sense. They just have to beat Namibia. And Scotland just has to lose to Australia. If Scotland lose to Australia, England beat Namibia, then England will be B1. And B group will be decided. Tomorrow, on 16th, you will get to know Group D. Or 17th early morning you will come to know.
South Africa have already qualified. Then there are 2 more matches left. Bangladesh versus Nepal. If Bangladesh defeat Nepal, then they will be through to Super 8, irrespective of the result of Sri Lanka and Netherlands. But if Bangladesh lose and Netherlands win their final game against Sri Lanka, then it will come down to the net run rate. and if both the teams lose, then Bangladesh go through.
Bangladesh go through because Nepal today shot themselves in the foot by not winning against South Africa. Because had they won, they would have been in contention for the Super 6 stage also. Now they are not Super 8. Now they are not, and that is why Nepal have only themselves to blame.
Yes.
30 runs of 36 balls, 18 of 18. How could they still
8
lose
of
by
6.
1 run? They still lose by 1 run.
And what was the thing that I told you on call? Sir, it's time to get up.
It is time to get up, and that's why 30 of 36, man, oh man, it's really not. But then if England go through, man, then that group 2 is
South Africa, West Indies, England, and USA.
USA. That is one group of death that you would really not want to be in. USA will be wondering why this is the situation. Okay, now this is the thing. Why is Sri Citizen is asking? Why is Afghanistan C1? They and West Indies both are 6 points and still to face each other. So one would go to 8 and that would be West Indies, right?
But Sri, that's
Sri
the funny
Citizen,
part.
again, the seedings that were there, A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2, D1, D2. All of them were pre-decided before the tournament. And this is the most important point. The standings where you finish, say in the group, if Afghanistan finish second, they will still be C1 because they dumped New Zealand out. New Zealand are the team that exited. So the team that exists, that seed which exists, they will take that up. So whoever is there, C1 will be there, West Indies will be C2.
And if you're asking what exactly the criteria is, I think it's down to where you are basis the rankings.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if you're going by it, Afghanistan being C1 over 2-time champs West Indies makes precious little in the way of sense.
Yeah.
Precious little.
I mean, England are B1, Australia are B2.
Which at least makes a modicum of sense.
Modicum
Even
of
England are the holders.
Yeah.
There's some sense over there.
Yep. And that is the thing. In D2, you'll
Pakistan are the finalists and they were B2.
A2.
A2, sorry.
A2.
India haven't won a World Cup since 2007 and we were somehow A1.
We are always A1, and that's the reason why.
Just on paper.
Just on paper,
But I think,
but
yeah, I have an interesting question for everyone here, and
Yeah.
Pawan can also answer this. Let's assume that there is a 7 or an 8 over game between India and Canada here. If you are Rohit Sharma, would you want to risk a certain Jasprit Bumrah for this game?
I think they were planning on resting him somewhat, man. It's as dead rubber can be. You win, it doesn't matter. You lose, it doesn't matter. You're still anyway. It's not even a case of like, the group standings will be affected because you could finish second and you're still A1. So I would rest certain players here. At least in this match, as I said, deadest of dead rubbers. I certainly won't risk Bumrah. Even more so now that it's such a soft outfield.
yeah, it is. I think I would rest him too, but will the team management do that? Because see, now you don't have any kind of rest after this. Every one day you are going to travel to a different part of the West Indies. 20 is Barbados, 22 is Antigua, 24 is the Windward Islands in St. Lucia. So that's why
Semi-final is on 27th.
27th in Guyana, that's in the South American tip at this point in time. And remember, India playing that game with a 4-hour buffer. There will be no overs lost for 4 hours. So you are basically
Second semi-final does not have a
reserve day, yeah. The one in Taruba has. So that is why that's the thing that we are having. Sarat Chandra is asking, why do you say that the wide rule is rubbish? Maybe it would have been helpful for Nepal today. VAR is used for all activities, not for certain things. And will New Zealand play qualifiers next T20 World Cup? Okay. Sarat Chandra, firstly, that wide rule. If you look at the other ball that was bowled, it was definitely not head-high. So that can't be a wide. So the last ball was the first bouncer in the over. Okay. And why I say that checking wide thing is a foolish rule is because it was too time consuming. If you want to sell the game, you have to ensure that it is crisp. Now that wide rule for every kind of thing, I review, it became a farce. The IPL exposed that. Now I have done a video, will New Zealand play qualifiers next T20 World Cup? No. By 30th of June, if they are still in the top 12, they'll qualify.
Yeah, top 12 is the...
Because see, 2 hosts have qualified. India, Sri Lanka have qualified. 7 teams from the Super 8s have qualified. Why 7? Because India is the 8th team. So they anyway will be that. 3 high-ranked teams in that period until June 30th. If they maintain that ranking, they will qualify, so that makes it 12. 8 teams will then be decided via the zonal qualifiers: Asia, Africa, Oceania, then Carib, Europe. Currently, the European qualifiers is happening.
Yeah.
So that's why you will come to know 2 or 3 teams from that. That's the thing. Sarat Chandras, I have asked that better rest Pandya. Poor lad is more fragile than Boom. But I don't think you're resting Pandya.
You may. Actually,
Yeah.
considering he's your vice captain, you'll probably more likely rest Rohit and tell Pandya to play.
No, but if it's a 7 to 10 over game, who would you open with the same combination?
Yeah.
That's a brilliant question, actually. In that case, I would open with Yashasvi Jaiswal and Rohit Sharma.
Yashasvi
or even Jaiswal and Shivam Dube.
Shivam Dube?
That's my dream
But who are you
combination.
getting Dube? Who are you getting Yashasvi Jaiswal in place of? That's a Dube only.
Exactly.
How will you open with both of them?
You can't.
I would definitely want to open with Rishabh Pant.
Yeah, he is also
Yeah.
a good option.
I think Rishabh might be a better option. But then see,
Or even Surya Kumar Yadav.
Yeah, he is open previously.
yeah, what
Then
if,
Hendrik-
see, for that India has to chase. Normally in this truncated game, if you are supposing getting a truncated game, India will want to chase if they win the toss. Okay, unless Canada win and they want to chase. So that is why it is a big situation. Anshul Oberoi, can we remove one pacer, play Kuldeep and Rishabh opening and Samsung instead of Jadeja and West Indies? This combination will be good. What do you think, just a suggestion?
You're removing one bowling option though, so I doubt.
No.
So which
I'll
is
go.
basically
And
one of
don't
the
read
pacers
and
from
don't read too
Arshdeep and
much. Don't
Siraj.
read too much into the Jadeja bit. See,
He'll be
somewhere
persistent, yeah.
somewhere down the line, he is your best player if you look at it. Yes, for 10 years he's not won you a game, but then when you look at what happened in the Champions Trophy, yeah, I know.
10 years
You
he
had
has
us.
won
You had all of us.
But he's your best player.
For irony, I mean, look at it.
Do you realize what you have just said?
Yeah, he gives you the balance.
No. In terms of sarcasm, that's what I'm
Sarcasm,
saying.
whatever it is. But then see, he's your best player for balance.
Yeah.
If you remove Pandya, remove Jadeja, the entire team composition goes awry. Let's make it very clear. A Dube leaving will not be that problematic. If you leave
Yeah,
out a
because you're barely bowling him anyway.
Exactly. And I'm still saying that the problem is Shivam Dube. You are
The first person to be dropped from this team would be Shivam Dube.
He honestly got him on IPL form, and I'm sorry to
And
say
that was a terrible decision.
he's not.
Again,
lived up to it.
if somebody tomorrow comes and says that Shivam Dube is a terrible decision, that's not what What I'm trying to say is Shivam Dube did make it to the team, but not in place of a Rinku Singh. That's
Well,
what
that already it has been decided. It's been done.
And that's what I find funny. If you really, and sorry, I just have to bring this in here because really the injustice burns deep. If you're going to be batting Shivam Dube lower down the order and barely uses bowling,
What wrong did Rinku Singh do?
had a bad IPL. That's the only thing. And
Oh,
then they'll say,
It was a self-made bad IPL, but then he didn't get many chances.
That's what. No, but I'm saying bad IPL is by relative standards. Yeah, he was having a really good IPL the year before that, 2022 and 2023. He was phenomenal.
And
Yeah.
for India, he had such a great.
Exactly, he had a very good run in the T20Is that he played.
Averaging
Despite
close to
that,
90 and even
Strike
strike
rate?
rate close to 180. If I'm
He
wrong.
has
Exactly.
more sixes than Ravindra Jadeja's 10-year career.
The best
He
player.
made his ODI debut in 2000.
Jadeja,
Yeah.
2009.
Nine.
Yeah,
Sri Lanka.
Yeah, so that's
surprising.
why. And every time when it came to a crunch situation,
He was always there
Jadeja's
for you.
always, no, Jadeja's
No, I'm
always
talking
failed.
about
Rinku, we are hardly a sample size of 1 year, yaar.
But
Okay, in the
that-
domestic,
no,
in
no,
the
no,
domestic space, fine. But then again,
No, but
you
you
have
also
to judge a
have-
player
no,
on
no,
2 to 3 years.
No, but you know what? No,
Don't judge by IPL.
No, I'm not. That's what I'm saying. I'm not judging Rinku by the IPL. He's also a good test player. He's not somebody who can only
Test
perform.
player, where has he played a test?
no,
Yeah,
no.
first class.
Yeah.
Again, not the benchmark. Please.
No, but he's
you
not
need
somebody who's just a minnow basher or somebody who can only play
3-4
on flat
years.
tracks.
3-4 years.
No, but
Arey, let him get 2 years
Shivam
first.
Dube, you got him on basis of 2 months.
Am I supporting Shivam Dube's
No,
inclusion?
that's why I'm saying that Rinku Singh should have been in the side. Whom would you have had?
Again, you're not making sense. You're caught between a rock and a hard place. If this Indian team management was thinking properly, you wouldn't have had so many players just slot back in. 5 months prior to that, you slotted back in 3 players.
That's
and
a whole different debate.
The
Yeah.
entire experiment for 1.5 years, you did a U-turn. Total U-turn over it.
And that is actually Rinku was the biggest victim of that.
Yeah.
Not just him, or Shubman Gill, who by the way, a lot of people are asking. a lot of people are asking questions about Shubman Gill. I just need to put it out there that whatever reports you are hearing on Shubman Gill, we have verified it from our men on the ground, and it is, to quote Donald Trump, fake news.
Fake news. It's
Nothing.
false.
There is nothing whatsoever. The team are making that decision because they feel they probably won't need those reserves in the not so distant future. You at most after this would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matches.
Yeah.
You don't really need, you have enough options even on the bench, and that's the main reason they're making that decision. That is the main reason.
So Anshul Oberoi has been asking this for 2 days now. Okay. I believe we should refrain from criticizing anyone or any team on these pitches. No opener excels on these surfaces. Everyone's facing difficulties. The Indian team is aware of this. See, this is where personality can cloud a certain thing.
Yeah.
Anshul, I'm sorry to break that bubble, but in all the 3 dismissals, you can give a maybe 51% discount. That was a good length that Netravalkar bowled in that USA match.
But all of them were bad shots.
Bad shots, nothing to do with the pitch.
It just wasn't pitch related. Pitch specific.
Even Rohit, nothing to do with the pitch.
Poor shot selection.
Poor shot selection. And that is why the only one that you can potentially say who got undone by the pitch in the Pakistan game was maybe a Ravindra Jadeja,
Dubey.
maybe a Shivam Dubey,
Because the ball stopped. It wasn't a cutter.
Yeah.
If it was a cutter, I'd still say, listen, that was skill. He rolled his arms over and it got to stop. He bowled a seam-up ball. It was Naseem.
It was Naseem.
He bowled a seam-up ball that just stopped on the pitch. I'm sorry, you could be anyone and that ball is traveling.
Yeah.
Same was the case with Ravindra Jadeja.
Yeah, but Jadeja, they had a clear plan, so I'm still not taking too much away. They were targeting him wide outside off, and they had fielders in place for that shot.
Yeah.
So they were trying
Specifically
to
had a short cover for
Short cover for
trying
that,
to
yeah.
induce that shot from him.
Because he tried to work it, but the ball stopped, got a leading edge, and shot cover took the catch at that
Exactly.
point in time. So that's why, see, there are plans, and Jadeja, as far as ICC is concerned, ICC matters, barring 2019. Rest every other time he's failed.
Yeah, you're talking about the bat, right? Because 2013
Jadeja with bat and ball was quite good. 14,
No.
okay.
15, no.
15 also, but he had a shoulder injury.
Yeah, he was decent with the ball, but didn't really contribute.
16
with the
was bad with the both bat and ball. 16 was bad.
But
17.
16 was the peak of the time when he was getting, there were calls to actually remove him.
Yeah. 17, we all know what happened. 19, we know that he almost got you the game, but a certain MS Dhoni dragged him down because he was
That's a
playing too
different
slow. 21, terrible. 22, he didn't play.
Yeah.
23,
Again, not good.
Not
in
good.
In the ODI World Cup, he had one good performance.
Yeah.
And that was against Australia. That's it.
So in a way, that also I think shows India's fascination with all-rounders. So
Yeah.
even if there are no
I don't think-
performances, you might still be persisted with because you can perform dual roles at the same time.
Yeah, I
in the
mean,
same
see,
match.
if you're,
But again, what I've also said a lot of times is that I understand the fascination with all-rounders, but again, that quality should be there. You cannot be, dropping
there
proper.
seems to be more debate that is going on. at this-
Inspection is still half an hour.
But apparently, looking at what our Eagles have stated, apparently that's what Yug Parmar is quoting also.
We can check that also.
We can check it out, that I think the game might not happen. That's what the Eagles have reported from Lauderhill at this point in time, and that's what we are saying. Now, see, it won't be a surprise because the sun has not come out.
yeah, I mean, if you look at what we can see as far as the live visuals, it's still very grey. And at this point, all you really, let's say, need is one bout of shower, one rain, and that's
And
it.
that will be
Khatam,
all.
tata, bye bye.
Yeah.
You're done.
Khatam tata bye bye. And knowing how the rain is in Lauderhill, it just doesn't drizzle, it absolutely hoses down.
Florida, right now, as I said, it's in the midst of a flood alert.
Yeah.
So you could have proper pouring rain, it won't really matter.
Yep.
And that's the thing, after if that pouring rain comes, then forget about it.
Forget about it, yep. So,
Forget about it.
again, I think then all the games in Lauderhill then would have been rained out in the T20 World Cup.
Correct.
All, I think, see, you had games in Dallas that have had no problem. New York has had no problem.
You only had a rain interruption.
Only Lauderhill has had abandoned games. There's nothing in the West Indies. West Indies, all games in
Where was that
Kingstown.
game against England and Scotland?
Barbados. That was rained
yes.
out.
Yeah, but, that was rain.
But Scotland did play around 10 overs.
10 overs, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, at least you had some action. Lauderhill, so far, you haven't seen a ball bowled.
Yeah, that's it.
Sri Lanka, Nepal, India, Canada, potential USA,
USA,
Ireland,
yeah, yeah.
which Pakistan will be really, really wondering what happened. So, GGK is urging us, guys, don't target Dubey. In West Indies pitches, we will play with Kuldeep and two pacers. So, Hardik plus Dubey is needed for balance. India want options considering unpredictable
No, that's
conditions.
fair, but again, what I've seen of Dubey's bowling so far, I'm sorry to say, it doesn't really inspire me with confidence.
Exactly.
And also, it's never a good sign if your own head coach is trolling your bowling indirectly. The exact quote, by the way, from Stephen Fleming whilst on comms was, if you speak to Shivam Dubey about his bowling, he's like Kapil Dev. But that's if you speak to him. He did also go on to say that, we've not really had the need to bowl him because of course, the impact player rule. But he also said that he might be good in certain conditions. What are those conditions? West Indies. Other than that, then he's a very specific bowler. Like at least for the Hardik, say whatever you want about, he's not a consistent 140 clicks kind of all-rounder.
Yep.
But he can give you overs regardless of the conditions.
And he has those variations also. That's not the case with Shivam Dubey.
Movement.
Yeah.
No, Dubey has variations. The problem is that at this point, he's basically a glorified Rajat Bhatia. He bowls at 120 and bowls cutters.
Rajat Bhatia was still.
I love Rajat Bhatia. I love Rajat.
Chotu was the legend upon which KKR won those two titles.
And I'm being respectful, but again, do you see a Rajat Bhatia playing international level? No, you don't. And that's the same thing with the Dubey. Dubey is a good bat. I think he needs to abandon his bowling.
Yeah,
but then he wouldn't make the cut to the team.
No, he
And
would still
same
as
is
a pure batter. Why
with
not?
Venkatesh Iyer also. If he doesn't bowl, then he.
But I think Venkatesh Iyer was still a decent bowler.
Somewhere down the line, his situation's going down the Venkatesh Iyer route.
And with Venkatesh Iyer, you can still say he had multiple injury issues. Remember, he had that freak injury before the IPL 2023, which basically restricted him from bowling. He bowls on and off in domestic cricket, but then that's the extent of it. At this point, he's more of a pure batter.
Yep.
And in fact, even his batting position has changed. He started out with KKR as an opener.
Yes.
Now he's doing well in the middle order. And that's
At
fair.
number 3 basically.
Yeah, 3, 4
or
dependent on the conditions. I think they realized that because of course he was better at bashing spin in the what do you call power plays.
Power play.
He would end up wasting a lot of balls. It's not to say he's a bad player, but then they actually found a better role for him. Dubey same, more of a spin basher.
Yep.
But Dubey is also more of a spin basher.
Yeah.
Against pace, quality pace in particular on tricky conditions, he does tend to get found out.
So I'll take one from Mayank Madan. New York was one off and no match practice in Lauderhill. So we are not going in Super 8s with normal surface match practice. Barring Bumrah, Ban has better bowlers and can't take Afghanistan lightly.
Yeah, I'll agree
also.
with can't take Afghanistan lightly, but saying Bangladesh has better bowlers. If aside from a Tuskin, there is literally no one I would take.
Mustafiz,
Rishad,
Rishad,
good bowler.
Shakib. Okay, but then see, as far as big game experience is concerned, all of them struggle. Like when there's a Tanzim Hassan Shakib, he also does well. But then see, Bangladesh, it's a lottery with them. If they click, they click. If they don't click, they
swing. With Mustafiz, there's experience there. But if you're talking pure potential, the only one I'm taking is
Tuskin.
A Tuskin. That's it. There is no one else who fits into that lineup.
But Mayank Madan, this was anyway going to be the thing. See, whatever you're playing in the USA on 20th of June, you have to wipe that slate clean. Because you're going to encounter alien conditions in all the 4 venues where you're going to. Fourth, I'm taking into account the semi-final that India will make it.
Yes.
Okay, so Barbados. There's a video that I've done that why you have to be wary about 71 years of a jinx. You've never done well in Barbados.
Just 2 matches.
Just 2 internationals in 71 years. You won in Barbados, and that too only ODIs. 2 ODIs.
But I think India really need to be wary of Afghanistan because the way Fazal Farooqi is swinging, obviously they are going to miss.
By the way, the
I
last.
think they have been playing in those conditions only.
Yeah, they've been playing.
By the way, the last time they played, it went to a double super over.
Yeah.
India, Afghanistan, and that too, Barbados might be the equalizer because of the conditions there. It's not. It'll be quite a trick for the fast bowlers that they'll exploit, but India better fast
and
bowlers.
If by chance India end up losing that game, then
And Afghanistan, they also have that big match mentality now. They did really well in 2023 World Cup by beating Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and England.
Yeah.
So you can really and almost I think took Australia and South Africa down to the wire.
It needed an undertaker from Maxwell to do it.
And despite missing Mujib, I think they have pretty much all bases covered.
They have a Noor, Rashid, but although Rashid's struggled more, it's been Fazal Farooqi who's been doing all the damage.
You have the muscle man also.
Gulbadin Naib has been doing very well for them. That's why, see, the game versus Afghanistan is a crucial game. Because if you lose that and you lose to Australia, suddenly your semi-final
No,
dreams
even
are
if you
over.
lose that, you know that you have not done well under pressure, and then you would be under pressure, especially against an Australia. That would be perfect conditions for you to actually get knocked out.
And you are potentially playing in the flattest of all conditions in St. Lucia. St. Lucia is flat, and if you look at it in Vivian Richards ground in Antigua, that's slow. And Barbados, luckily India are not playing Afghanistan in Vivian Richards ground, Antigua, because that is slowest of the lot.
Yes.
So let's see how that goes about it. And okay, any super chats, Pawan? I think we had one or two of them, right?
And we will be joined by our man on the ground very, very soon.
Soon,
Just this thing. Ashish Dhar, no, let's
Can't
not
take that.
really go about talking about lobbies. It's not down
Yeah.
to that. I think the team management did have some faith in Dubey's bowling.
Yep.
I will
But
say.
I've seen that faith from the IPL a lot of times now. They've shown faith in when they dropped Ambati Raidu. First they got Ambati Raidu on the basis of the IPL.
They dropped him
Then they
basis-
dropped him on the basis of the IPL. They showed faith in him. So I don't know.
Yeah, the Karthik K rather jokingly asking, do they really need a plan to dismiss Jadeja? I mean,
You do. I mean, Karthik, see that there is a plan that Australia always employ in test matches. Round the wicket, angling in full, getting it to nip away, edge, gone. That's the way how they do it. See, if you look at it, let's not berate Jadeja. I know that the circle of life is coming full circle because
But
2009, he faced so much abuse.
Talking about that England game.
England game and South Africa game and also the Australia game wherein when Tendulkar went, he choked.
oh, I remember that.
175. Hyderabad versus Australia.
Yeah.
I understand where it is coming from. I know many people are not happy with Ravindra Jadeja in this entire. After the Champions Trophy exploits, he's won only one major title, and that was the IPL title in 2023. That's it. Apart from that, he's been a colossal failure. Let us be adamant about it. But yes, ironically, whether you wanted to make it sarcastically or not, he's your best player for the balance that he provides.
Yeah.
Gun fielder, decentish bowler, decentish bat. That's why. Sai is saying, should Kohli come to number 3 and Jaiswal opening in Super 8?
Discussed about this a lot.
But I doubt it's happening now.
Yeah.
I really
No,
honestly doubt it's happening.
by the time they actually want it to happen, they wouldn't be able to do that. That's what I feel.
I don't think it will happen because see, that means you're changing the entire composition, and even in the bowling composition, we don't know whether there will be Kuldeep, because I think you'll predominantly need Kuldeep for Vivian Richards ground Antigua. I don't think you'll need him in
But
Barbados.
irrespective of the opposition and conditions, I'm going to play Kuldeep in all the 3 Super 8 matches. Spin can really do the trick for India.
Then
and
that
he's
means
still very lethal.
no Siraj
You'll
or
drop one
Arshdeep.
pacer. Yeah. You'll have to drop one pacer, which most likely will be Siraj. Because Arshdeep is actually taking wickets. No disrespect to Siraj, he has been bowling well, bowled one of the most crucial spells against Pakistan. Gave away, I think, 18 or 19
18 runs,
only.
didn't take a wicket,
he
but
hasn't
was-
been among the wickets,
Yeah.
and that's where I think you would need an Arshdeep.
Yup, indeed. So that is why, Kevin Abraham, what do you mean by law of averages and lottery? It's a very convenient way to hide analysis under the carpet. You know
Not
what,
at all,
Kevin
Kevin.
Abraham?
No.
It's a very thing, like how you said it, it's a very convenient way to hide analysis. But then that also I can interpret as your criticism is also pretty lazy. I'll tell you why. The classic case of a lottery was what's happening in this T20 World Cup. It's all a lottery. I mean, who would have thought that Bangladesh will end up losing by 4 runs against South Africa with a Keshav Maharaj bowling in the death over for the first time?
Okay.
Nepal, South Africa, 30 of 36. How would you expect it
A
to?
lottery, I think the best example of a lottery pitch for Kevin Abraham, just so you get some context, is the pitch that India got against South Africa. Second test. 1.5 days.
1.5 days.
That's a lottery.
Ahmedabad,
Or Ahmedabad.
World Cup final.
No, that wasn't a lottery.
Ahmedabad, if you're talking about the biggest lot, no, but that also wasn't a lottery. India, England, 2021, pink
2021.
ball test.
Oh, yes.
Which pretty much killed pink ball tests in India.
Yup.
What is the point if you're going to give a pitch that does that?
But I would not put Nepal, South Africa in lottery. See, let's be very realistic about it. South Africa did bowl well. They made sure, they had the fielders in the right place. I'm sure we both watched the match in the last few overs. So it was completely about South Africa making full use of their experience and, bowling the right lengths. And in case of Nepal, it was the clear case of being inexperienced at this level. That's it.
Yeah.
Had they played against a few top-ranked nations prior to the tournament in any of the bilateral fixtures, things would have been different. We would have been really talking about Nepal handing Nepal, pulling off a stunning win against
Which
South
bilateral
Africa.
series are you talking about? For all these things, again, which associate nation played the most number of games heading into the T20?
That is the shout basically, that they really have to play.
It was
Unless
USA.
they won't be able to rise.
It was
against
USA.
Canada they played and against
And
Bangladesh. I was coming to that.
Now, Nepal, their board has also been suspended because of political interference.
CAN.
Yes. Even when you look at it, most of the associate boards, their boards are suspended because of political interference.
Similar thing could be happening to USA after a point.
Yes. Zimbabwe. How many times has Zimbabwe been banned because of political interference? Zimbabwe, Canada, you look at Nepal, you look at USA, they are not in the main creamy layer when it comes to the ICC. And you look at the latest revenue allocation. Look at the revenue allocation. How much is the percentage for the associates?
But then what is the advantage of having more associate nations every year? Like I remember in 2021 you had the likes of Switzerland, then I think there was
Switzerland?
Yeah, it's a part of the associate nations.
It is.
Basically every year
European qualifiers.
It's not just the European qualifiers, that there is more attached to it also. That how much revenue would really go into improving cricket in that particular country, and if that is just the case, and if there are no tournaments that these teams will play, no important tournaments that these teams will play, I think it won't make any difference.
See, now Australia are going to tour Scotland for 3 T20Is.
Okay.
But are they going to play a full tour?
Or a full strength team.
Never.
No chance at all. They're going to send a B team.
See,
India is playing
okay, I think this question was
India is
asked.
also going to send pretty much.
So, Bharatchandra asked me this question. Naz is touring Scotland, so you may see changes. But then, just a token tour. You've had token tours for 50 years.
Your token tours for years, India have been doing them all the time.
Yeah. Where on earth are you going to see a full strength, full tour? Australia have not played Ireland in a test match. Australia have not played Afghanistan in a test match.
But that
England
is a different
haven't.
reason.
Yeah, that is. But then why haven't they toured Ireland?
England do tour Ireland. They'll play one after. Don't tour. They'll call them over.
But I'm talking about other Pakistan has
Except in Pakistan have toured Ireland consistently.
Pakistan have toured Zimbabwe also for a test series. West Indies have toured
Yes.
Zimbabwe, and even Sri Lanka have also toured.
So, look at, will you pay money to watch them? As a cricket viewer, as an analyst, I'd like to ask to the fans who constitute the game, the spirit, heart and soul of the game, will you watch Zimbabwe Sri Lanka? And you will be serious about it? The first reaction that you guys will give is, oh, it's so boring, yeah. Why do they have to play against each other?
The qualities of the team and the quality.
But quality is subjective. Boss, a Zimbabwe and a Sri Lanka will have 1/100th of the funds like what a BCCI or an Australia has.
Of course.
How will you then make that same level of quality? You can try what Formula 1 is potentially trying. Shane, if you can correct me there. There is a cost cap.
Yeah, there's not just a cost cap, there's also equal revenue allocation. So the revenue allocation, but then that's easier to implement in a sport like Formula 1 where you have kind of a closed cartel system, right?
Yes.
Where you only have 10 teams and there's a, limit on how many teams. With cricket, the best thing that you could do is ensure that the ICC revenue, which is again, I may add, ICC, it is revenue generated by the custodians of the game, that be distributed in a more fair manner. But even there, you have no one else to blame except India, because they are the ones who are constantly fighting for the lion's share of the revenue. And in that sense, then who's going to be looking for them? India looking out for their own interests. The only reason the other two members of the big three, Australia and England, are protesting is because India didn't take them along for the ride. India was selfish. These are facts.
These are facts indeed.
Now-
And even there was a time when India and Sri Lanka did play a tri-series in Zimbabwe. But that was like way back in 2010, and that was still a part of the FTP, which is the Future Tours Program.
Yeah.
That's not really the case nowadays. With
Now, Pawan,
these teams.
I hope my mic is better. I had switched off and switched on in case.
It's not about you. I think it's about the
Okay.
Okay, then I think
Let's just switch it off for now then.
we can switch it off for a time being until we don't get any update from there. You can switch it off, and then we can ensure that there is no sound interference at this point.
because
in
it does
time.
happen. He does make a good point.
So yeah, I mean, but when was that? 14 years ago.
Yeah.
Now when India Sri Lanka are playing a series, yeah, I'm sorry, but even we as sports journalists look at it and are like, yeah,
July.
yeah,
3 ODIs and 3 T20Is.
yeah,
And 5 T20Is.
yeah.
Just after the World Cup, we have 5 T20Is versus Zimbabwe.
Against Zimbabwe.
That's
yeah, and you can
just
bet your
after a
bottom
10-day
dollar.
gap.
And you can bet your bottom dollar you won't even be sending a B team over there. You'll be sending a C or D team over
No,
there.
you would be seeing Ashutosh Sharmas and the Shashank Singhs.
So that is a B team.
That's a D team.
D team, yeah.
To be led by Rishabh Pant.
Could be. Could
Or
be.
even
If-
maybe
or KL
Ruturaj. Even maybe Ruturaj.
Could be Rituraj, KL.
He's the designated captain for these
KL Rahul.
kind of teams.
No,
KL
KL
Rahul
has
we
been
are not
dropped
seeing
from
in
T20s.
T20. Yeah.
I would have said Shreyas Iyer, but then his contract situation hasn't
he's
been.
a good option.
Yeah,
actually. Yes.
I would love that to happen.
Yeah, Shreyas Iyer could be, so that is why it's going to be a big thing. Ashish, there we took your super
We took
chat.
your super chat, Ashish, there. We just didn't take the wording and we answered it.
Yeah. So, okay, what is the other thing? Austin Kuna, it is sure now India will face either West Indies, South Africa, England or USA in the semi-final in Guyana. Which team would India be more vulnerable to lose to? Prediction of India's highest run getter of the world minus Pant. I mean, if you want to look at who's more vulnerable, I think to all of them.
Except with the exception of US.
I would say it's West Indies and England.
Followed by
Secondly,
South
I think
Africa.
Prediction of India's highest run getter of this T20 World Cup. I think it will be Surya Kumar Yadav.
I think Hardik Pandya.
I'm actually going to agree with Austin and say Pant looks the sure
No,
shout.
except Pant, I think he does.
No.
No, he's saying minus.
Minus Pant.
Yeah, I will agree with him. and
You
say
have to
Pant.
choose your pick.
Because again, he's the only batter who's looked to take some kind of risk, and much as watching him take risk was like walking a tightrope,
Yeah.
it actually worked against Pakistan.
Yeah.
It did.
You needed a little bit of innovation on what was a clearly bad track.
Yeah, you need such kind of players in such tracks. Only these kind of players, I think, can be successful.
Yeah, you don't want convention. So I think his shout is good. As for teams vulnerable, I'll agree with Siddharth and say West Indies and England are the two teams.
Yes.
South Africa, you may still be able to negotiate. USA, less the better. They aren't even making the semis. But yeah, if you got a West Indies or an England,
Yeah.
count your prize, my
Yes,
friends.
I think
West
negotiation.
Indies, I think, would be the most dangerous of the
Yes,
world.
Yeah.
actually. Even England for that matter. If they
England
qualify.
also, by the way, last year also, row pitke, they reached the semis.
And even this time also, they look like they're doing the same thing in the Super Hits.
Yeah, last year
Yeah,
also,
yeah.
remember there was a game against Ireland, washout, that cost them.
5 runs they lost, and Australia game was abandoned.
Yes, Australia game abandoned and lost to Ireland.
Correct.
So they had to win against New Zealand, they had to win against Sri Lanka, that was a must win. And then they beat India in the
And then they beat
semi-finals.
India by 10 wickets. In
Wickets.
the
There was
semi-final.
Afghanistan also in there, bro.
Afghanistan was first.
They
played
beat
a-
Afghanistan.
but that also they had to really.
really huffed and puffed.
Yeah, those are not good conditions at Optus that they played in.
I remember that World Cup was a bit of a lottery as far as conditions go because you were playing in the non-Australian season.
Yeah,
so some
October.
days you were getting it to swing like peak lords. Other days it was sluggish.
Yes.
And you're like, what is happening here?
Yep.
But that's what happens when you don't play in the designated time
And
periods, by the way.
Siddharth, India have gotten the better of South Africa, I think, on almost all occasions in those big matches in the ICC
See,
events.
if you look at it, Champions Trophies, India are unbeaten against South Africa. If you look at the ODI World Cup, they have turned the corner and have now won 4 of the last encounters that you've got.
But the first came in 2015.
2015, yes. You won in 2015, you won in 2019, you won in 2023. So
And
3.
even defeated
It's
them in the
3-3.
2014 T20 World Cup semi-final.
You have lost only once to South Africa in the T20 World Cup. That was 2009.
Yes.
7 you won, 9 you lost, you won in 10, you won in 12, you won in 14.
No, you lost to South Africa in 2022 also.
Oh yes, you lost in Optus.
Optus, that firebrand pitch.
Oh.
Yeah. So yes, you lost twice
Yes.
to them. 2009 and
But in the big
2022.
matches, India still hold the advantage. over
Yeah. But again, the law of average, this is where, Kevin Abraham, supposing if a team has lost on a consistent basis, somewhere down the line, the law of averages may have to catch up. One team will do better on one occasion.
that is the law of averages.
Like for Pakistan, they lost 6, but then they won one game 5, they lost 5, they won 1 in 2021.
Yeah.
But that was the law of averages. That's why somewhere down the line, you can't keep on winning consistently. You can't win 26-0. You can't win 30-0. in
And
that
by the way,
sense.
we're about less than 10 minutes away at this point in time from the other, let's say, pitch inspection. Let's hope we get some better news, but honestly, I doubt it.
I
really doubt it.
doubt. And I think then maybe because there's not much at stake, and maybe because now the traveling will have to increase, I think a decision might be made quicker.
Possible.
Maybe. But then again, see,
It's an inconsequential match.
today 9 o'clock, the inspection will happen, but you'll still not lose overs. Because of the 90-minute grace period that is
But
there.
if you don't have the time toss by 9, then I think
Yeah, sure. Then if they say there is another inspection at 10 o'clock, then you will definitely lose overs
But
then
do
at
you
that
think
point.
you'll see another inspection at 10 then?
It could be possible.
See, the
Or you'll just call it off.
ICC will want to ensure that you leave yourself the maximum amount of time to get a game in.
Somehow, somewhere.
Somehow,
And the
somewhere.
latest the game can start by, which means the latest by which you can have a 5-over game.
11:45.
It's around 11:45 p.m. I assume.
Yeah, that is correct, which is confirming that 11:45 p.m. is when you can have a 5-over-a-side
Cut-off
game.
time for
Yeah, that's the
5 over.
cutoff.
Yeah.
If it doesn't start by then you are looking at
An
washout.
abandonment.
Which
Yep.
means that the ground has to be ready by around 11:50.
11, yeah, it has to be ready by that time. And already you've lost 1.5 hours. 1.5 hours you've already lost.
So I was
Just-
checking for some updates. Again, nothing major. The only thing you're getting to know so far is, as Siddharth mentioned, cutoff time for the game 11:45. Apparently, some websites have used the term hair dryers for what is being used in the stadium. I'm not sure if those are actual hair dryers, but that would be quite a sight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've seen that previously.
Yeah, exactly. But in India, where we joke about it,
We've seen the sponge also, if I'm not
oh, don't remind me.
Yeah, we saw the sponge.
We saw the sponge in 2023.
Yeah,
and-
oh man, that 3-day final. Oh man, 3-day final, and that was, see, if I may have to add, drying the pitch and drying the outfield is not an easy task. Let us be very honest about it. Whatever are the resources that you've got, probably you're hamstrung by that. Supposing I only have 2 super soppers, but then if suppose it's not just one small patch, the patch might be the size of this entire studio. You have to dry that, and with no natural sunshine, it takes longer.
No, but I think it's been 20 up close to 20 hours now that it hasn't
But
rained.
there's no sun. It's cloudy as ever. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
And sand based, it seeps deep. It takes time. Water. See, there was bright sunshine in Trinidad in 2016. Bright sunshine.
So since we're waiting 6 minutes to go, let's take a couple more questions. Scroll slightly up. King D said, stop watching cricket, start watching baseball. No. I'm sorry, it's one of those sports which I've never understood how it is that Americans like. I do find it a little on the board.
I mean, see, there are 4 bases. So basically, if you hit it to a fielder and you run through and you get through first base, by the time you have not been tagged out, then it's 1. But if you hit a home run and you get all 4 bases, then it's a 4-run home run. And if it goes in certain parts of the maybe stadium, it's a foul ball. It's not
so it
a.
can't go behind it. All the scoring
Yeah.
areas are forward.
So there is a certain zone. Supposing if this is the stump and if the keeper is right there, if it goes wide of this, it's a ball. But if the keeper collects it within that, it's a strike. 3 strikes, you're out. 3 balls if you bowl, then I think you are.
The pitcher can't bowl.
The pitcher can't bowl.
In that particular innings, if I'm not
Innings.
mistaken.
There are total 12 innings, if I am not mistaken.
We
Enough.
think cricket is long.
It is long. In NBA also, see, there are how many? You need 24 seconds for the.
But basketball, the rules are still way simpler.
Way simpler, yeah.
I mean, you have to outscore the other. If you're within the area, 2 points. Outside the area,
3.
you shoot 3 points. 24 seconds to get the shot off.
Yeah.
4 quarters. Very simple.
And I think per quarter is 12 minutes or?
Yes, 12 minutes.
12 minutes. So yeah.
Harsh has
P.
an interesting question that do you think Babar Azam will take responsibility for this debacle? He doesn't seem like that kind of captain. He's about me, myself and I. I think
That's very true. That's so accurate.
I think he makes a point here that Babar Azam has to take responsibility.
No. I think
for,
at this point the only thing
Pakistan's
would be-
dismal show here, because the way I think he led them specifically in the game against USA, we all witnessed how things were
terrible captain.
Yeah, actually, it was completely messy. The way Mohammad Amir wasn't really able to hold his cool, or the way Mohammad Rizwan threw those balls with no clear direction at all. That's where I think you needed your captain to just go to the player and tell them, okay, just calm down, stick to your basics, it's going to be fine, or something like that. There was no chat with the players at all. And even during the India game also, when he really had to anchor the innings, he failed. So that's where I think he has to take responsibility of it. And mind you, he was reinstated as the captain.
No, and what was that one comment that he said? What was the statement exactly that the super chat, what did it read? I just want to see that.
He's about me, myself, and I.
No. Do you think Babar Azam will take responsibility? Pakistan itself for its existence has never taken responsibility for anything, be it whatever debacles. And look at the PCB. The PCB is a house of horror. More presidents have come in the PCB than the entire playing 11 of Pakistan in the last year. Chairmans. More chairmans have come. So, where does the
actually more than a number of times Shahid Afridi has celebrated his 21st birthday or has been appointed
Rashid
as the captain.
Latif, you may say all of them have retired about 15, 16 times in their career and have come back. I mean, for example, what was the age when Shahid Afridi hit that fastest 100?
I doubt it.
You doubt it, na? Exactly.
Iftikhar is the same age of Virat.
That is Pakistan for you, Harsh.
And just to add, Harsh, you're talking about will Babar take responsibility? You can correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I remember about even the reports when he gave up the captaincy after the ODI World Cup, it was a case of I'll quit rather than being fired.
Yeah.
Because the writing was on the wall. And again, this is the same Babar Azam who reportedly, when he was offered white ball captaincy, at first declined because get this, he wanted all format captaincy back. So Babar Azam will take responsibility. I really don't.
If the
At this point, all he would be thinking about is how to actually save himself. I'm pretty sure there's no thinking about responsibility and all of
If
this.
the PCB can't take responsibility, how on earth can a Babar Azam take responsibility?
Yeah, I mean, there is no accountability from the top up.
Yep.
And there's not going to be any from the captain. He'll just say, no, I didn't have the right tools, I didn't have the right combinations.
The Pakistan cricket team succeeded in the past because of infighting that was despite the norm.
It was in spite of itself, not, because
Exactly.
of.
I mean, look at it. Javed Miandar and Imran Khan never talked in 1992. The PCB was dysfunctional, but still they won the World Cup.
But then they also had legendarily all-time great players.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Babar Azam is basically a Pakistani KL Rahul.
Yeah. He is. I mean,
if any one of y'all ever want an instance of what India would look like under KL Rahul's captaincy, watch what Babar does. Reactive captain.
Yeah.
All about, I'll be responsible. I'll score a 120 strike rate. I'll play dot balls.
Yeah.
All that.
I somewhat disagree with Shane here. I feel that KL Rahul is a better batter than Babar Azam. No disrespect to Babar here.
No.
But
Better
KL
captain.
Rahul has won India a lot of matches.
I'm saying I'm talking about as a captain purely, and I'm talking about format specific. T20 eyes, KL Rahul the batter.
he made it to T19.
Yeah.
He made it to
T19 every time because he made a habit of playing maiden overs.
Yeah. Wow. You see, you have to understand, Sid. Shane is the KL Rahul hitter in our team.
No, I'm a KL Rahul basher and for good reason.
Yeah.
Because again, I've for years, and partly it's not all his fault. Some of it is down to, the Indian team and that whole responsibility nonsense.
Yeah.
Poor guy took that to heart. But at this point, even with no pressure, that he's still taking responsibility.
Yeah.
You're seeing it with Lucknow Super Giants. He's still playing at a 120 strike rate.
Yeah. Today, you can check out the video, the three major factors that Pakistan were eliminated. They can't blame the rain for what happened at Lauderhill. 38 balls. No boundaries
All
were
you
hit.
had to do was wait USA.
India, man.
And 7 extras in that super over. And third, the cable. Okay, what do you think? If you look at what would have been the strike rate of Babar and Rizwan in these 3 games that happened?
80 and 100 if I'm not mistaken.
104 for Babar, 88 for
But
Rizwan.
the biggest problem, the fact that they reached in the super over stage was that they needed 5. USA needed 5 of the last ball when they actually hit for the 4. If the plan of the bowler was to go for a Yorker, then why was mid-off inside the circle? That's the biggest reason that the communication gap is there.
Because if you're bowling, you're right. If you're bowling, trying to bowl Yorkers and you overpitch one,
Go down a bit.
then the easiest thing would be to clear the infield.
in fact, you'll have the third man and fine leg inside circle, and the straight fielders mid-on and mid-off would definitely be out of the circle. It would be long on and long off.
Okay. I just because that's what one of the journalists explained the format, how it is, and you could see another America's representation
For
in
2026.
2026. Yeah, so you are going to have the same 20 teams, and there comes Sharafadullah and Richard
Oh, there come the
Kittelborough.
harbingers of doom potentially.
Yeah.
By the way, just look at the amount of breeze that's doing the rounds.
Yes.
Not a good sign. Not a good sign. I know people will think, oh, the breeze will help dry the ground, but that ground
It's
is
just
very good.
the one patch that's the problem. They're
I mean, look
going
at it.
there.
They have covered that part, and also see they are not confident. They are walking very gingerly. See,
Oh,
that looks
a
soft.
Pretty
Oh.
bad sign.
it's not good.
I don't think it's happening.
It doesn't look.
And this seems to be that point third man region, and
No. I think yeah.
it is that point third man region.
Cover-ish, point-ish.
And see, again, I reiterate, a machine dryer can only help you so much.
It's only surface.
You need natural sunshine. That too, you need the kind of heat that we have been having here.
Let's send some of that heat over there, no?
Oh, please.
Do us all a favor.
Seriously, we are in this unprecedented heat wave, and I don't know how. Shane and Sid and Shashwat, you all have been born and brought up Delhiites. You might have not experienced this kind of heat wave.
Never ever. In fact, that's the thing. Statistically, this is the worst heat wave Delhi has ever gotten because it's been consistent. Normally, you will get a heat wave punctuated by some rain, then maybe more heat. There's been no rain punctuation.
Yeah,
It's been 45 plus for a good month
Yeah.
now.
And the heat in Delhi also has been like really,
Dry.
and it feels like an.
I don't
Actually
think.
difficult to.
I don't think it's good news
Yeah.
because they are still walking around very gingerly
I
at
think
this point.
there's
in
going to
time.
be another inspection scheduled for another hour.
Another hour, and then we'll call it quits, and then we'll come only when we get something concrete from there.
Yeah. Because
If that happens.
we spent a whole hour talking with you guys, and that's not to say we don't love it,
Yeah.
but it does seem like we don't.
And I think that's Andy
yeah.
Pycroft at this point.
They just
The
had
match
a
referee,
chat
yeah.
with the match referee, and things don't look promising at all.
Things don't look promising at all. Yeah, because
Yeah, I mean, based on what you're seeing, so far doesn't look like there's any signs whatsoever that they're calling for, well, anything really.
Exactly.
They're still just checking out the ground. So,
it's very bad, and I do feel bad for the Lauderhill ground staff also. But match abandoned. Okay.
Okay, match has been abandoned.
Abandoned. Here we go. So yes,
The inevitable
Can
has
we
happened.
has happened. Match abandoned without a ball bowled for the
India
third game.
and Group A as table toppers, obviously.
didn't matter
Yeah.
either way, but yeah.
So
But
this
will this washout help Canada in
No.
terms of qualification for 2026?
no, their ranking is very bad.
Yeah,
If
so
you look
they'll
at
need
the
to go
ICC
through
ranking,
qualifiers.
yeah, they'll have to go through it because they'll collate the entire situation that is there.
That's actually
Yes.
what this journalist was mentioning is that because USA qualified directly through the Super 8s, it's not going to be a case of either USA or Canada. You could potentially see both because USA already there. If Canada make it through the Americas qualifying, then you'll see both of them.
Yeah,
You'll
Bermuda,
get,
all
you'll
those
get to
kind.
see H1B, India H1B, and you'll also get to see Little Punjab. It'll be nice.
So the host broadcasters, the handshakes have happened. India versus Canada match abandoned.
So no overnight rain, no rain in the morning, approximately I think more than 15-16 hours of a dry spell, and still the ground conditions were not ready for a match to happen.
Yep. That's what the
Who is responsible?
now see everybody will say the ground staff. It is easy to target the ground staff, okay, because they didn't cover the ground. They had advanced knowledge that there would be pouring rain in Lauderhill.
Yeah.
Okay. Sri
I
Lanka, Nepal was undone. Okay. They didn't have time to fix the ground either for USA, Ireland or for India, Canada.
Yeah.
So now you're seeing 3 games on the trot getting abandoned.
You know, one only thing I'm really glad about in today's case that they called it off early.
Yeah, because today was an inconsequential game. Now, yesterday, even a 5-over
Oh man, they
game
really
would have
pulled it. They really pulled it.
But going into the Super 8, would India, obviously they are currently unbeaten and most of the things have
Being
really worked
unbeaten
well for
isn't a good
India.
sign.
Yeah, but it has to begin with a clean slate. But my question to all of you here is that would India be worried about the form of some of their players, including their star batter?
yeah.
They will be.
Yeah,
Definitely.
because see, that's the thing. If you're comparing campaigns, compare 2023 to 2024, it's apples and bad apples, not big apples. Why do I say that? Because in 2023, you were firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
Your bowling was doing well, your batters were doing well, your fielders were doing well. Here, it's a case of, listen, you've dragged through. Ireland, you got through because of your bowlers. Pakistan, you were bailed out by your bowlers because in no universe.
Bowler.
No, I'll give the entire one credit because even Arshdeep did well.
Yeah,
but,
even Aksar, yeah.
Yeah, but I'll give the bowling unit credit. But other than that, man alive, I mean USA, I'm not even counting because even that you were this close to bottling. 20 more runs that the bowlers gave away, it was game on.
But changes is, I haven't seen anything different. I have seen this previously also, before that also.
No, I'm saying
and why would the things even change? Because it's more or less
Because you haven't
the same
changed
batting
anything.
order, yeah.
You haven't
Nothing
changed
has
anything.
It's just the top and the mindset that they say that it has changed, but I clearly haven't seen that, and I don't even believe in it till the time I actually see India actually going. I'll ask a very honest question, okay? Do you see this Indian batting lineup on a flat track going for a 220? Even do you even see that India approaching that sort of a total of a 220, 225 on a flat track against in Australia? I don't think the same thing.
Yes,
go for safety
they will.
mode. They will go for a 200ish, 205. No. I can assure you that
If the
day
Pakistan match was anything to go by, I think India will adapt that approach. That's for sure. They will continue to play their shots even if wickets are falling. That is going to happen.
No, I mean,
no matter what.
No. Yeah, okay. They will play their shots, but I'm saying that will it happen? Will they actually reach that score? Do you see the team actually going ahead?
200 is very much gettable.
220, I'm saying. 200 is, in today's day and age, T20 cricket on flat tracks, I think 200 is a
bare minimum.
yeah.
Again, you have to look at the venue where you're going to play. Okay.
Even at a
No, I'm giving you the situation. I'm saying it's a flat track.
let's just
See
say
how
the
many
Barbados
teams-
track is a spicy one. Even 160 would be fine there.
Yeah, no, that I'm agreeing. That's what I'm saying. On a flat track.
No, why do you want a 200 as the bare minimum?
On a flat
track.
Even on a flat deck, you see.
Basically, where he's coming from is more of modern T20.
Yeah.
See, modern T20 also. Modernity doesn't mean you don't play with common sense. Supposing, okay, you got two flat decks in the Super 8.
Okay.
One is Barbados. The other might be St. Lucia. Okay. Guyana, don't expect.
Oh, that's going to be slow.
Guyana, even if you get a 150, that is equivalent to 200.
Yeah.
Okay. You're going to play the final in Kensington Oval, Barbados. There, if you get a 180 or a 190, I think it could be good enough. It could be good
match-winning
enough.
score.
Only one team has managed to reach 200 in this edition of the T20 World Cup so far, and that's Australia against England.
And that too, that was also on a pitch, by the way, that was not that easy.
Yes.
They exploited the power play.
They exploit the power play well, and that is why, see, power play is going to be very, very important. And looking at the way spinners are, in West Indies, you're getting far more grip. You're getting far more drift and sluggishness. It's not India where it can be one-paced. So that's why somewhere down the line, whatever has gone wrong in the IPL, there has been a massive course correction in the T20. Massive course correction. From 7 250 plus scores, you've had only 1 200 plus total in this entire T20 World Cup so
That
far.
was just 201.
201. Just 200. See, that is the thing.
Yeah, I mean, we've coming off an IPL where the top three highest ever IPL scores were scored in one edition. I don't blame him.
Yeah, I don't blame him. Yep. So I'm only happy for the fans in a certain way because they will get their full money back. Because if the toss had happened, they would only get certain value of money.
I don't think you get the money back.
get-
if
You
it's
do,
called out.
Yeah.
If the
if it's
toss-
called up without a ball being bowled
Yeah.
and no toss.
Because this match will not be calculated. And because if it's a toss happened, it's an official game. If a toss happens and the match is called up, then you don't get that much of the money.
Is that a
back.
reason why against KKR, RR players rushed to get the toss done?
Yeah. Maybe.
Remember, the toss got done 5 minutes in and boom, it's rained again.
Yep. So that is why it's going to be a huge situation. Well, okay, one Jen is like saying we'll be joined by Nikhil, I think, shortly. That is speciality of West Indies when you have no idea, same track can give 180 and 160.
Absolutely.
Depends on the pitch, yeah.
Point well
Seriously.
taken. Ashish Dhar says that should KL Rahul play the PSL to improve his T20 strike rate? Even if India somehow wins this World Cup with 1% probability, Rohit and Virat should retire from this format. I don't know if they'll retire.
Yeah, this is going to be the last
No, but the
T20
BCCI
appearance
will look
for India.
past them.
Yeah.
Will they retire?
No,
Fact
even looking past them, I wouldn't trust that because that the same.
It was
thing
supposed to happen in
happened.
24.
Yeah.
Look at that
It
worked
should
out
have.
for you.
It should have.
Yeah, but I think,
Just
see,
imagine this team with a Shubman Gill and Yashasvi opening and having a Rinku down the order.
yep.
The
See, you
previous
are
one.
going to see India are anyway going to make it to the semi-finals. Okay, that's
No,
a
it's not a
given.
certainty. You have three teams.
90%. 90%
You
you're
have
making it.
Afghanistan, India, and Australia who could make it.
Now, okay, I'm just saying that. See, the problem is you can get a better of Afghanistan. You can. Bangladesh, you can make it on Bangladesh or Netherlands. Australia, yes, that's always going to be the banana peel for you. And semi-final is a lottery. Whichever team does well that day, you do well. Then after you've huffed and puffed your way to the semi-final, then you play the final.
That's assuming you make it past the semi-final.
Anyway, see, no team in the history of the T20 World Cup has ever won it undefeated. Okay? In 2007, India lost to New Zealand. In 2009, Pakistan lost to England. In 2010, England did lose one game, if I am not mistaken, to the West Indies. 2012, West Indies lost to Sri Lanka, and also, if I am not mistaken, to Australia in one of the league games. 14, Sri Lanka lost to England. 16, West Indies lost to Afghanistan. 21, Australia lost to England. 22,
England lost to Ireland.
Ireland. So that is why in 2024 you are going to see one particular match where India will slip up. Now, whether it happens in the Super 8 or in the semi-final,
really
that we
needed
don't.
to happen in the Super 8.
You know, if
Slip
it,
up
but
was,
still-
I think even a Pakistan game was sort of a
But
slip up.
still, that is no guarantee.
yeah.
It is no guarantee that if India loses one game earlier, they'll make up and then okay, we'll do well in the semi. No.
So no team has won the T20 World Cup unbeaten
No,
throughout
never.
the group stage or the
Never.
Has any team ever won a World Cup unbeaten? Australia 2007
And
2003.
and 3.
Yeah,
God,
yeah.
yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you look at Champions Trophy, Australia didn't lose in 2006 and 2009.
Yes.
Yeah. They got their game got
Did India
abandoned.
lose Champions Trophy 2013?
No.
No.
They won.
okay,
They
no.
won it undefeated. They beat South Africa. They beat Sri Lanka. They beat West Indies. They beat
2007, I
Pakistan.
remember they lost to
New Zealand.
New Zealand.
So
Yeah,
that's why.
Daniel Victoria.
11 they lost to South Africa.
Yeah.
So in the World Cup, and 83 also they lost 2 games to England, to Australia and
Yeah,
West
yeah,
Indies.
yeah.
So that's why it is a huge problem that you're facing now. That India clean slate, they head to Barbados.
Yeah.
I mean, India are the bosses of the group stages. Let's make no bones about it. Very, very good at doing well in the group stages.
Yep.
It's always that one bad half an hour, one bad day.
40
In the
minutes.
T20, 40 minutes are a lot.
I think T20 40 minutes will finish the game.
Yeah, I mean, which team looks the most likely to cause an upset or a surprise? I think you're looking at the Proteas.
Afghanistan.
Afghanistan also. Let's not be surprised if it's also a South Africa-Afghanistan semi-final.
Could be.
Possible. It is
Could
possible.
be. See, India,
You are basically- we
Australia.
are either having India or Australia as the second team, assuming Afghanistan qualify for the semis.
Yeah.
Do you see a World Cup semi-final without Australia?
I mean,
Maybe.
without
See, the
India.
T20 World Cup, it looks more likely.
T20, it's a possibility. Why? Because T20 is a little bit of a lottery format.
Yeah.
So it can happen. It really depends on what kind of conditions Afghanistan get on the day. If it's slightly spinning, boss, they've got the spinner.
See, if
No, I think
Afghanistan-
even on flattest conditions, I don't think that they do.
No, I think they're batting.
No, yeah, their batting is the problem because it's very top heavy.
Yeah.
Their
Yes.
batting is Gurbaz,
Gurbaz.
Zadran,
Yeah.
and to an extent Omar Zai.
Omar Zai.
That's the extent of it.
And then you lower down the order, you have a
Company is
Rashid.
very much a hit or miss kind of
Rashid.
guy.
If they get, I think, 2-3 wickets, then Afghanistan would be under pressure.
It's very
obviously.
funny because I always find that Afghanistan's middle order more often than not has players who should be batting lower because you will send Nabi and Rashid at 6 and 7.
Yeah.
Why? They're your better batters. Send them at 4 or 5. Why are you not
Yeah.
doing that? Professor Nabi in particular is a very underrated bat.
So I think that is why I would not put Afghanistan because their batting is slightly
But
problematic.
still, it does. If it's a 120 kind of a chase where their spinners have done well,
Then
if
yes.
Gurbaz and Zadran can actually just stick in and go for this thing, then I think they are sorted.
They are.
Then they might not make it to the final, but for Afghanistan, even making it to the semis, making it out of the Super 8 would be big.
It's huge. I mean, they missed out on World Cup semi-final by a whisker.
By one freak knock. One freak knock.
Glenn Maxwell.
Glenn Big Show Maxwell.
Yep. And
And he can deliver it at any given point.
yeah.
Exactly.
Danush is saying no need for cricket in USA. Go watch baseball, basketball.
I mean, after what kind of World Cup you've gotten, I'm pretty sure many Americans will continue.
I mean,
watching
see,
this
I think tomorrow is the last of the USA leg.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yes, pretty much.
I would rate it only as 2 out of 10. I'm sorry. The wickets that have been there, the kind of action you got in the US, barring 2 games, the rest have all been disasters.
Yes.
You can say India, Pakistan to a certain degree, but I think the original thriller was USA, Pakistan. Looking at the conditions, 159 was that's a good T20 game.
That is a good T20 game.
And also Dallas, I think I would rate it 9 out of 10. Dallas.
Yeah.
New York, 3 out of 10. Fort Lauderdale, 1 out of 10.
Fort Lauderdale gets the same score that you saw number of balls being bowled, yeah? 0.
0.
A big 0.
Yep, exactly.
Shreyas Jain, by the way, making a bit of a joke saying that they could have borrowed the covers from the baseball ground.
Oh, actually, yeah. Are they
Yeah,
expensive?
you can. So that's why it's a big problem. No one's happy at this point in time because of how things have panned out in Lauderhill. I think it's a very damp end
Quite literally.
and not a good end. But India, see, as I've always said, wipe the slate clean, go to Barbados, and today you'll see Group B decided. On Sunday and Monday, you will see Group D decided, because I think on Monday 5 a.m. you have Bangladesh, Nepal, 6 a.m. you have Netherlands, Sri Lanka.
Correct.
You might not have to wait for tomorrow morning for the game between Australia and Scotland. Yeah, if England
Which is in the
lose
next
to
1 hour.
Namibia, or if they
Or if
get
it's wrong,
washed
they're
out,
out.
Yeah.
then England are out.
Vikram Talreja is saying Rohit, Virat, Pant, Surya, Sanju, Hardik, Jaddu, Aksar, Kuldeep, Bumrah, Arsh. Here you have 8 batters with Kuldeep in the side. If you need more firepower, let Dubey be in place of Jaddu. If you go 7 batter, then Sanju is most interesting.
He's must instead of a bits and pieces player.
Yes. Man.
Fair enough.
SMS language, I'm telling you.
Dhairya says Australia versus Scotland series announcement just before the Oz versus Scotland clash. Suspicious. Dhairya, if there's anything suspicious, Mitch Marsh is getting a ban.
But anyway, see, everybody stated that Josh Hazel was a dry
Yeah, he
sense
was
of humor.
joking, yeah.
So he was joking.
Yeah.
Wouldn't really surprise me if he was.
Yeah, I know. But again, anyway, see, why we are saying that it's Australia have done this in the past. 1999.
99. So they have precedent.
Yeah, because why they wanted to get West Indies in this to knock New Zealand so they would get 2 points.
It's like, put it this way, if Babar Azam comes out and starts making spot fixing jokes, you're going to be suspicious.
Ouch.
Especially with Mohammad Amir in the team.
Oh. Okay, beep, let's. Okay, once Jan England, Namibia 0 rain prediction, I check. Yep. Okay, so that's good. That's good. Maybe they insert Namibia and get them all out for 60 and England chase it on 3 overs again.
Phil Salt hitting 2 sixes again.
Exactly. Yeah.
Asad Usman said they spent 25 million and don't have full covers for 2 stadiums. How funny. Indeed.
Yeah, it is.
But then rain is the ultimate leveler, my friend. I mean, England and Australia have got the best facilities in the world, but then their games have also been called up because of wet outfields.
Oh yeah, and they also still haven't learned to cover the entire thing.
Exactly.
They'll just use those stupid hover covers or anything. Of
Yeah.
Jesh has a question that which Indian spinner will counter Aussie lefties? I think Kuldeep Yadav.
Yeah, Kuldeep.
that. Has to be.
Or
You
would
don't
you
have
play
an off-spinner.
Yuzvendra Chahal?
No, I think Kuldeep.
No, Kuldeep.
Kuldeep.
Because Kuldeep will again spin it either way, right?
Yeah.
But I don't understand. In batters, you pick batters on the basis of their form in the IPL. Then it should be the same with the bowlers also. Then start with Yuzi Chahal.
No, Yuzishal did not have as good an IPL as compared to Kuldeep.
He had more wickets.
No.
He had wickets, but then he
More
was
wickets,
expensive.
but in second half of the tournament, his form nosedived.
Yeah.
No, that
And
was
also
the
if,
same
you're
with
picking,
Dubey
also if you're picking spinners basis their IPL performances, then Varun Chakravarti should be your first choice spinner.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
most
the
wickets he
yardstick,
got.
that's the whole thing. The yardstick is so
It's
different.
very flawed. It's very flawed.
Rinku Singh, because you know that he's the softest of the targets, you just dropped him. Here, if you would have dropped Yuzi Chahal again, then
You didn't. There was no problem with dropping Yuzi Chahal because he wasn't even in your scheme of things. He doesn't have a contract. That's the thing. There is no contract.
even Ishan, Kishan, Shreyas Iyer.
So they should bring back Shreyas then. No, make him for captain for Zimbabwe.
Okay. So
What do you think, guys? Should we?
I think we can. I mean, because see, we have got nothing more to discuss because the game's been called off.
Yeah, we would have got some insight from the ground, but it seems there's some technical
Yeah.
issues holding that up. Really, so a bit
You might have a
unfortunate.
video from there. So
We might have a video for the fan reaction and all those things.
fans?
I mean, there were fans.
yeah.
Some had turned up here. So yes, despite the rain, they turned up.
I mean, full credit to them.
Yeah. So that's why.
I love that passion.
Okay, so that brings an end to India's group stage matches and Group A, barring one game. It's all done and dusted.
India has 4 days now to actually
Yep.
get ready
Recharge
before
their
the marathon
batteries.
starts.
And prepare for Barbados for
Friends.
India versus Afghanistan. That's going to happen on 20th. That's the next big game that we are looking at.
Team would fly today only?
I think they're
Most
flying
likely.
tomorrow.
Most likely tomorrow.
No, I didn't think. I did. Last time also they travelled
I don't know,
on
but
the same day.
Actually, don't forget, there it's
Yeah.
morning time, no?
Yeah.
So they may
That's
actually
why-
fly out in the
yeah,
evening.
They may
That's
fly
right.
out in the evening. Yep. So that's why, yes, India will be mostly flying out today. So let's see. And what happened? He will join. Okay, so we'll
So we're
continue.
going to carry on for a while.
Okay, so he has. We will be joined by Nikhil from Fort
We
Lauderdale.
are not leaving you now.
Okay, we are not leaving you now, so we'll just take two more comments, and then we can
Okay, let's
wait for
no
Nikhil to
reactions.
join. Okay, but yes,
Because how do you discuss a match that didn't happen?
yeah.
For
We
an
have
hour
been
and a half?
doing it for an hour and 20 minutes now, and we'll be doing it for another half an hour more.
An hour.
Yeah, an hour, unless
Now, in case you want to have a live quiz and be beaten by me,
Again?
convincingly.
Yeah.
again, I mean, I will beat him. Yeah,
Lest we forget, I beat both of you all last time.
yeah,
But
but
that's not available to the.
That is unfortunately not available.
yeah, Shane did.
To a
Shane
number
did.
of
The
mistakes that
producer
were
was-
made.
Yeah.
Let's not name the person who actually made
Shashwat?
the
So why are you blowing your own trumpet then at this point in time?
I never said that the person who screwed that quiz up is sitting to my right. I never said that.
You did now.
Yeah.
You
No,
just did
but
now.
it was produced by the end of the day, but it actually did make it to the final.
There was no final cut.
No, and Sid, as always, he never learns. Yeah, Sid Gulati never learns. He wants to just ensure that okay, there is a lot of verbal trash talk, but when it comes to real karam, he doesn't do it at all. That is Sid Gulati in a nutshell for you. And somebody was saying that he's a lucky charm. And okay, there was one comment by Austin who said that, okay, if India wins the World Cup, please wear the Virat jersey throughout the whole day. I'll tell you why, Austin, I can't do that.
Yeah.
And Nikhil is here. Hi, Nikhil.
Can
Are
you
we
hear
audible?
us?
No, I think Nikhil's not audible.
No, he can hear us, but we can't hear him.
We can't hear Nikhil.
I can hear you guys.
There we go.
Now we can.
And
hear
now
you.
we can hear you too.
But that's because Pawan had muted me, so you couldn't hear me. But now you can.
Now he's giving you voice. Like, let there be light, let there be voice.
Yeah.
So these are the scenes. Fans here, you can see a bunch of them all going out, are disappointed. I spoke to some of them. That video is going to be up on Sports Today shortly. They paid good money to come here. A lot of them traveling from different parts of USA, some even traveling from Canada to watch some game, but did not get any game time. So you can understand their disappointment, not a single ball being bowled. Funnily enough, they called it pretty early, and that's the other thing that's really, upset the fans here, because you still had a lot of time. I mean, more than 2.5 hours for the cutoff for 5 overs aside. And that's why fans are upset, saying that, listen, we've come all the way. If not 20 overs, give us a 10 over aside, 5 over aside. That was possible because it's not raining. You could have dried the pitch. But I think the umpires realized that possibly the kind of thing. So let me just give you an idea of why the game hasn't happened, even though it's not rained now for a good 20 hours. It only rained last evening here. Since then, it's not rained at all. Yes, it's been overcast, no sun, but no rain. And yet you could not, because there was one part of the ground which I've been telling you, based on which even the USA-Ireland game was called off. Today as well, that part was wet. And what they were trying to do is, see, earlier you used super stopper, right? But what does super stopper do? It takes away the puddles. The puddles that are formed, that's the first step. So the puddles were removed. Then you have water which is skipped in, which makes the ground very soft and damp, which can be dangerous. So on those areas, they use these industrial type blowers, which is rather large blowers, much like your vacuum cleaner, which is much larger in size. They had about 4 or 5 of them employed in that area, with trying to dry that particular part of the ground. And they tried that for a good 3-4 hours. I think what the umpires realized that while they could make the top surface dry, the surface that had become wet and soggy and soft underneath, that could not be dried at all with those blowers. So eventually, no matter how many hours you spend trying to use those machines to dry, would eventually not give you the kind of ground or the ground surface that you were looking forward to have a game. And because there was going to be a risk of injuries, Especially, I'm sure the Indian team wouldn't have been very keen to go and play a game, considering they've qualified for the next stage. And imagine, because of that soft ground, because of the water that seeped inside, deep inside that sand-based outfield, probably because of that, I think this call was taken, and much in advance, even about 2.5 hours in advance before the final cutoff time, they decided to call this game off. So pity for all the fans that traveled from all across, and maybe, a food for thought for the organizers going forward. Because if you are going to try and push the game here, popularize the game, I don't think this serves as a great advert for that. That you don't have rain for so long and you can't get playing conditions. One simple thing that everyone I spoke to mentioned, you have these white sheets, much like you have in the rest of the world, cover the playing area, the 30-yard circle, the main playing area that you cover. If you can't cover the entire ground, maybe that part of the ground which is a bit lower in height compared to others, and that's why water collects there, maybe that part of the ground also could have been covered by a very inexpensive method. It's a very inexpensive method by having those sheets, those tarpaulin sheets. I think all you could have done was had a few more, and then how was everything? The game didn't happen, so not good. Where have you traveled from? Come here. Yeah, because he can't hear you. You'll have to be to my left. To my left. He came from Toronto.
Yeah.
Going back without a single ball being bowled.
That's okay. Happens,
Uh-huh.
Blue cricket, we can do anything.
Oh, hardcore Indian fan. He says,
That's it.
oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I wish we had a game. I wish he's come all the way from Toronto, but he's a sporting fan. He says it's okay. Part of the sport.
And
Yeah. Yes. Dheeraj, Rahul. Yeah. Oh, okay. Lovely to meet you. Hi. Thank you. Come here. Where have you traveled from?
California, man.
He's traveled from California. Hi. Come.
Super disappointed. These
Come
guys
be closer, because your audio will go from here.
These guys don't know the worst cricket game in Australia. They're not really serious about it.
Uh-huh.
I mean, they couldn't even dry the ground, even though it's not raining. It started raining. It's
Yeah.
not really nice to fix.
Come. Yeah, come.
All the way. Yeah, nice.
Come. See, he's come all the way from California, and he's very disappointed. And as he says, probably they don't know. You know what's the surprising bit? That this place, Lauderhill, is a regular cricket venue. It's unlike New York, where you just created the cricket venue. And so if the ground staff there did not know, you could still forgive them. Here, permanent ground staff, you have a permanent structure. The stadium, India's played matches here. KL Rahul 100, 2019.
So they have to wait until 2 p.m. to decide for a 5-hour game. So they closed it at 11:30. Indian coach, maybe the Canada coach, they were like, okay, we're done, we don't want to play. They would have given this hint. If this match is so crucial to India, then they would have waited till 2 p.m. to decide if 5-hour match is possible. At that point, they would have decided, match can't be done because of wet outfield or something. In India, you put in like this white sand or something to observe the water. What are they doing like yesterday whole night? I think they're working full time from 9 to 5. That's it, like us engineers. Yeah.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
That is a good point.
How can it get away? I'm traveling from New Orleans. I cancelled this flight 2 times.
Okay.
So I booked it. I cancelled it again, thinking like it can be done. But yesterday I thought, hey, there may be a chance. My dad is visiting from India, so I'm like, I want to show him the game.
Again, yeah.
So that's why I booked it again yesterday, paying double the price again because it's twice now, paying like thousands of dollars. It's not about the money at the end of the day, but
No, it's also about the money. It's your hard-earned money.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. And
So,
see, again, in every
I would
sport,
have been happy if I waited till 2 p.m. to decide truly this game can be possible. They could have played a short-end game.
the
They could have tried to play a short-end game. I was trying to bring first game.
I come here, come. How old are you? Come closer. You'll have to be. No worries. Yeah, come. She's 14, and if you want to turn her into a cricket fan, then you need to organize the game much better. You need.
I've seen your videos.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Following the grants, this time.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Yeah, but see, if you turn her into then you have to ensure that the conditions and the conditions can be improved quickly. Organization has to be better. Only then will she come back. Right now she's coming because her dad's like, come on, let's go to the cricket game. So she turns up. But if you want her to come independently, she's only 14. By the time she's 20, she start taking decisions and she'll only come to a cricket game if she get a game, right? So see, I speak for her.
Thank you.
But lovely meeting you guys. Lovely meeting you guys. Have a great day. So, you heard from the engineer, brilliantly summed up. He's like, I think the ground staff is much like him, engineer, do 9 to 5 job, and this is like their second job because they were clearly not great at it. The other point which I was making, which he talks about too, that 2 p.m. local time, you could have gone. So what the fans really want to see is give it a shot. You give it a try. You ensure that you've given your best to ensure that the game is possible. Call it off 2.5 hours before the cutoff time. Then it just feels like, and as some fans said, it just feels like that. We're not very serious. Wow, come, let me see your. So they've got some likewise. So it says 1 T20 World Cup to go. So they're still backing up. You're saying hi. They're all watching you. Rohit, man, 2007 player. Great. Let's see, what have you got? Come. He's saying thank you to ICC for bringing the World Cup to USA. But you're going to say still thank you after what happened today?
No.
No. Yeah.
It could have been better. No, they could have mentioned look, the India, yeah.
What? Okay, one. Have to be close to me. Yeah. Go ahead, then I'll bring you. Yeah.
Yeah, this match could have been in Dallas. The climate is not very good there, but they kept it in Florida. Here it always rains here.
Yeah.
It could have been planned better.
Okay, good point. You come here now. Let's switch. No, you to be here. Yeah. Go ahead.
I think for a World Cup like this, you should have better preparation. Like they should have super stoppers like how you have in Australia and other countries. Like the drainage system should be proper at the stadium. Like fans have come all across.
Where have you come from?
I'm coming from Austin, Texas.
Wow. Good money to be here.
Yes.
And this is what you get. Luckily, you get a full refund.
Oh yes.
But not only for tickets.
Yes.
Yeah. Come, let him as well. Yeah.
I'm very disappointed. They should have planned it way better. As let's say they should have kept the match in Dallas instead of coming here in Florida when it was going to rain and there were flood warnings since a month ago. They should have already seen the forecast. It's a basic thing that they didn't do it, especially when it was going to rain yesterday. They should have their outfield ready and covered by then. It's like simple basics.
Yeah. Well, I can't. We have a lady here. She says, "Cameraman, help me meet Rohit." Now that's not something that I can help her with, but I can help you with you actually. Go ahead. Yeah.
Nothing. I think it was just sad what happened, but that's fine. But at least I think Indian teams, since they have come to US and we have come from far away, like a lot of I've come from Washington DC.
Yeah.
They should have at least toured the ground and just waved at us because that's all we wanted to do. It's sad match didn't happen, but at least we could have at least seen them. We couldn't even see a single player.
I think we got lucky.
Come here. You'll have to be. Yeah. What do you say?
We got lucky. We got autograph from Rishabh. He was kind enough to give us autograph.
See, you should have been hanging out with him.
Seeing this, please do that and stuff just at least do a ground. These things are not in our hand, but please think about your fans. They love you. Motivation.
Very good point. Yeah. Lovely points. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Rohit, you have prepared this for you.
He's prepared it for Rohit. What does it say?
Rohit, this World Cup as a champion, you started the T20 as a player and won it in 2007. We want you to win it in 2024 as a champion.
Super. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Oh, what does this say? This says, Rok Sakoto Roko. Oh, nice. Play with Rohit. Come here. This young boy, it's his birthday. But you didn't get a birthday gift. You didn't get to see a game.
Yeah. I tried to get one signature, but I was shut down.
Oh, poor guy. You had a similar experience trying to get autographs? Nice. So she managed some autographs from Canadian players, but a lot of them disappeared. Yeah, they did not. Now I heard from a lot of other folks that came here said that if the match didn't happen, at least where are you from?
We're from Denver, so it's about a 5-hour drive.
Oh, so you drove down.
Yeah.
Ah.
I'm from in Chicago.
You are from Chicago. Man here came from Chicago. And you didn't get to see a game.
But we have a message from India.
Okay, what's the Yeah. There you go. Hi, Manshu.
I actually watch you and Vikrant next week and
Yes.
from New York and to India and everywhere like Australia. And really, where is Vikrant?
He's that's
Really glad to meet you. And
Thank
I
you.
watched all the conversation after the match, before the match, and all the guys in the team.
so give us your thoughts. What happened today?
Yeah, we came from Atlanta last evening. We were like waiting for the. Yeah. But it's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
You okay? You spent so much money.
They won against the Pakistan, so we are good.
Ah,
Just come out, greet us, like just greet us like two people came from the whole US too. So need to be come out to see that like how many people just see.
fair point. Fair point. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Lovely to meet you. Lovely to meet you guys. So again, fans are doubly disappointed. And of course, no game. Came all the way from different parts of US, as you've heard. Secondly, no glimpse of the Indian players too, and that's a constant complaint that I hear from Indian fans. That Indian players tough to catch, no autographs, no photographs. I think that's the only thing that they desire. It's not something that they get. They come up with their banners like you see behind me, which says, "Oh, 2007." They want to repeat in 2024. You got a picture of Harbhajan and Robin Uthappa and Sehwag and all that. And they're hoping. Are you traveling to Barbados?
Chicago.
You
We
can,
scored, but many game cancelled. Yeah, we've been here yesterday. When they cancelled yesterday. At least little bit, at least 7-8 over.
Yeah.
We toss and some. We don't have.
yeah, makes a point. Makes a
I hope
point.
so this year India bring the World Cup.
Then you will be okay.
Then
All the
then
anger.
we'll-
Okay, thank you, guys. He's here only somewhere. Yeah. He's that side, I think.
That side?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Say
Yeah.
hi.
I will. He's saying only way that go away is if India wins the cup. That's what they want. Least they want. So yeah, that's the latest update from Florida. And I was just thinking, effectively, if I had known no USA game, which was crucial, USA Ireland, that was the one game we would have covered. And the next was the India game. Had I had an epiphany, if I had known in advance, if I could see the future, then I would have cancelled my trip to Miami. Straight from New York, could have gone to straight up to watch India play. Didn't really need to come here because it's been a waste actually to come to Miami. That no game at all. And this is something that the fans pointed out. That this was Hurricane season. Could have looked at maybe this. But if not, basic facilities, those covers, just covers in a few areas, you were good to go. No rain. The worst rain that you have, hurricane kind of rain, was 2 days ago. Since then, just a bit of drizzle, and yet no map. It is what it is then.
No, so I mean, we have been hearing this a lot, right? I think I remember also going through some of the weather reports, and it did say, as you mentioned, not only hurricane season, there was even a flood alert out there. And again, if you're a local, it's common knowledge at this point in time, places like the Caribbean, places like Florida, you will more often than not be getting some bouts of rain. I mean, surely this has to be something now that will be getting the ICC exactly the kind of coverage they wouldn't want, wherein there is so much criticism of their attempts really at bringing cricket to America that they went for the glitz and glamour option, had half the games in New York, which were mostly terrible, and then the one proper cricket ground, you had Florida, you had games there scheduled at a time when you know it's going to rain. It's definitely not, we say any publicity is good publicity, but I don't think this is going to be good publicity at all.
I mean, see, yet again, every single ICC event in any country that you play in, okay, one thing is for sure, the ICC and all the facilities put together, whatever they may try, rain ain't sparing anybody, if you have to look at it, because even the greatest of great nations have fallen foul to rain, okay, outfield covering and all those things. Kolkata only just started doing it after they had that embarrassing thing in South Africa, number one. If India, Australia and England can fall prey to weather, and that too because there are certain rigid protocols in place, even Sri Lanka, by the way, that Asia Cup, that one burst of rain was so sudden that even the ground staff, the great ground staff there, couldn't cover the entire. So you saw that one horrid patch at the Premadasa at that point in time. So, see, rain at this point in time, I would be tempted to be an advocate for the ground stuff and see the 2 days of rain prior to that they had, whatever they could have done, they were fighting a losing battle. But I may be defending the indefensible here at this point in time, because fine, could they have planned it better? But the venues were all allocated about 7-8 months prior.
Yes.
And you are carrying a risk that was hurricane season in the Florida Panhandle and all those kind of places. What do you do then? Could they have chosen Dallas? Maybe, but it was already too late. Maybe the pitches and the stadiums were not that equipped for it. New York, I mean, it's already been a disaster. New York, let's make no bones about it. I had rated the thing as 2 out of 10 for that entire thing, what was organized in New York. So, the entire US leg, barring Dallas, has been a big disappointment. And this rain is not going to help in any which ways to make the game any better in the US, which already by its own standards for 100 years now, NBA, baseball, American soccer, football, and if you look at soccer's just making inroads now, but still, cricket is still a long way from ensuring that it is done. And I think Nikhil's got more fans there. Is it, Pawan?
Barbados. Yeah.
Okay, so he's discussing the.
Yeah, we are disappointed. Come on, very disappointed.
Oh, we have some fans in Canada.
We were very excited traveling from Indianapolis to here.
Okay.
And we thought we will go next today, but unfortunately,
No.
because of the weather.
Okay, you'll have to be closer to me. What do you think they could have done?
I guess they still had time till 2 p.m. decision. I don't know why they were in so much hurry to call it off. And if that was the case, ICC would have taken a better step, right? If the grounds are not adequate to ICC standard, they shouldn't have scheduled matches there.
Yeah. I mean, you're using blowers and still not doing. Yeah.
They could have done something.
Indiana has a better cricket ground than Florida.
There's a inter-US rivalry also. Where the ground should be. Okay, love. Pity about the game. Sorry about that. Yeah.
They're letting us go, at least we can go. At least just came in here and we just landed.
Oh.
Our flight got delayed, we landed.
And you thought you'd get some bits of the game.
Yeah,
That's
we
okay.
learned, we initially learned that the game is delayed. So
we were happy.
why not be on the here without
Terrible. Oh, guys, see you. Yeah.
Okay, so it's we are just struggling to figure out what to make sense of the US leg.
I'm glad it's over. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I said it for the New York leg, and I'm saying it now even for the entire American leg. I'm glad it's done and dusted.
Yeah.
And I think
Please.
more than that also, the problem also is that it was before the Super 8 stage, so it seemed like more of a qualifying round into the main, Super 8 stage, and then to add on to that were the wickets that were not good at all. Those made the headlines. So for all the wrong reasons, I think the USA leg was definitely
Again, with an exception, Dallas.
Dallas.
Barring-
We've seen a couple of good games.
Only two good games.
One
that I can-
USA Canada.
and USA Pakistan. So that's why Canada was a disaster at this point. But Nikhil, now how will the Indian cricket team look at these last couple of days? And how will they head into Barbados now? I mean, will they be worried about the form of certain of their batters? Will they be like wondering, okay, let's wipe this out as a clean slate and head fresh into Barbados?
I mean, a game here today would have benefited the Indian team for sure. At least a few players, get some runs under your belt, especially when you're playing a no-pressure game, which this would have been since you've qualified. Yeah, it would have, but I think it's not something that they'll be too cross about in that sense. Because you had qualified, unlike a lot of other teams, every game, every point's become very crucial. So in that sense, they're okay. They're okay to spend some time off. And maybe then, look forward to the Barbados game. So this will be a big, long stretch where they can really relax. Because after that, you know how hectic the schedule is going to be. So you're playing 20th, 22nd, 24th. And you're traveling islands. So you finish a game on a day, you probably take the flight the same day, reach the next destination. And then
I think he's joined by some fans again.
Yeah, the Bharat Army, I think.
Yes.
Okay.
live है गेम होना चाहिए
We can't hear anything.
Not all.
Yeah, sure. We've already shown it. Already shown. Okay, let's see. Okay, they've got a banner. Let's see. Come. Let's see. What is this? Team India, we believe in you. Okay, I hope you guys can see the.
Yeah, we can see it, but whatever they are speaking, we can't hear.
Yeah.
Yesterday we went for USA. They go USA.
You went for the Team USA, even that got abandoned. Yeah, so how is it? It's not been a great time here. Come, you have to be closer.
The weather been like this. Usually here you see the rain on and off, but this is the first time it's 12 inch rain in one day.
Unfortunately.
So the climate has been changed.
That was us. They got featured on TV as well.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's why they're happy. That's gonna go there. This is gonna go. What you have to go right now.
This is for today, my buddy.
Oh, they're gonna picture.
Okay.
Thank you guys. Thank you. Lovely meeting
Oh,
you.
great.
Lovely meeting you. Likewise. Nice to meet you. Thank you. Come. Let's. So, they met Rishabh Pant.
Be careful, Chicago.
Nice. Okay, so there's a selfie session going on.
Yeah.
But I only wish they would come to Noida. We need rain. Wherever they have gone, they have gotten rain. I only wish they would have come to Noida. We need rain here desperately, and I think those guys.
ICC needs to organize a tournament in India.
Exactly. At this point in time, they need to organize it here.
Nikhil, coming back to India's combination that we were discussing just before, I think the fans arrived.
Yeah.
What do you think, would be the possible changes that would be in India's 11 for their first Super 8 game against Afghanistan? So, do you see a certain Kuldeep Yadav coming in for maybe a fast bowler or a Shivam Dube, or what are the changes that you expect?
No, I think again too early to say. I want to arrive in Barbados and then get to know about the conditions there. Hazard a guess at the moment.
Yeah, just a first thought.
India making any changes, changes even for that game. I doubt it, because with Afghanistan, they would want to go in with their pace attack and try and intimidate the Afghanistan batting lineup. That's what I reckon. And because of Afghanistan's bowling as good as it is, you also don't want to compromise on your batting, so you want to bat the number 8. I do not see much changes. I think this is India's first choice 11. The only way you see them make a change could be on two fronts. One, if there is an injury and then they have to figure out a way to change their combination. Or two, if you get real spin-friendly conditions. I mean, really spin-friendly conditions for you to get another spinner instead of a fast bowler. In Barbados, are you going to get that? I don't think so. Maybe Guyana, who knows? Semi-final, you do that and bring a spinner. At best, maybe Antigua is the other place you might go in. But in Barbados, I don't see India bringing in an extra spinner. The other option is, of course, one of the spinners and get a Kuldeep, but then that will compromise on your batting. So, is that going to happen? So, at the moment, I don't see the Indian team make a change. I know Jadeja is not going through great form. I was speaking to a few fans, and it's very unlike Jadeja. And they were like, they were looking to take pictures with him. They caught him at the hotel and stuff. Usually, he's very good-natured and quite fan-friendly. But what I hear from the fans, he's been very aloof. He stayed away, not trying to get pictures done or anything like that. And that kind of tells me from the outside that he may be feeling a bit of a pressure right now because of the performance and because of things that have been spoken into the media and written about him. I think he's feeling that pressure. But does that mean that he's going to be changed to playing 11? I doubt it. I don't know. So you're pretty much looking at the same 11. Good opportunity to maybe try a few players. Not that India would make changes going forward, but just to get a few of them into the rhythm. They could have, but in fact, some of your 11 members of your 11 also needed to get into the rhythm. So I think that's an opportunity, but changes in the 11, I don't see any. No.
Okay. But sir, don't you think that the lack of form and the lack of confidence there is in India's middle order right now? Do you think that now that you are saying that there won't be any changes, do you see a Rishabh Pant? That's a very outside thought, and that's something that I don't think the Indian team would be doing. But I didn't even think that Sanju Samson would come to open in the warm-up game. So do you see here a Rishabh Pant actually coming to open and a Virat Kohli coming at number 3 because of just the pure reason that there is lack of confidence in the middle order? Because as soon as your openers are back in the pavilion, there's nobody as such who you can actually bank on in those sense.
No, so see, I mean, you said it yourself. You don't see the Indian team doing it. So yeah, that I have to agree with. I don't think India is doing it. But just to elaborate on your point or the merit of doing something like that, I know I've heard a lot of people say get Virat to bat at number 3. I do hear that, but I don't think the Indian team is thinking like that. Why I think that they're not going to bring Virat at number 3? Primarily because, see, what is the outlook that the Indian team has now had towards T20 after all the criticism to bat in a certain manner? And I think this has now been ingrained into everyone that we're going to keep attacking. That's the way we're going to play. You even got a Virat Kohli to change his natural game and play like that. But that is something that the team has decided, team management has decided, and Virat is trying to play to that template that he's been told. Because now he's a player, he's not the captain, he's not setting the template for the team, the captain and the coaches, and he's just simply following that. And I think this is the conversation the team has had. If you are going to follow that template, then where is the best place for Virat to bat? I think open, because as you know, we've looked at it in the past that if you really want to bat at a high tempo, and that's what Indian team wants, then power play is the best opportunity to Virat for be batting there and executing that. The pitches here aside, the pitches are different, and I know that's why it's not getting the kind of tempo that you'd like to see from players. The pitches aside, but just overall, as in terms of what they are trying to achieve or what they're trying to do, I don't think they're going to have this or will even be open to the idea of having Virat at 3. I don't think that's happening. Whichever way you want to make it, Sanju to open, Pant to open. And I think why that is pretty evident is because they've decided to have Pant bat at 3. I think Pant is going to play that role that you're asking everyone to batting revolves. I think he's going to play the role. I think they're telling Virat, you're good in the power play, you are batting there, Rohit is batting there. So we can look at various combinations. I may have a different outlook. For me, the 11 was different, as I mentioned, where I was also playing a Yashasvi in that 11 and still managing everything. But again, those are our thoughts, just as this is your thought. I don't think the Indian team is thinking on those lines. The only way they would have veered away from their template is if they'd had a couple of hiccups in their first round. They haven't, so I see no change.
Yeah, I mean, as I've always said, for this current template that Virat has, his best place is opening. He can't bat at number 3 anymore because that is the position where he is best suited to. And if you want to take the IPL as the benchmark,
that is not the, just to clarify that it's not the template as you mentioned that Virat has. I don't think that he is the most comfortable playing in this template, but this is the template that the team has allotted.
Yes.
And him being a team man, he's trying to execute to that template. You ask Virat to pick and choose which is the template, I think he'd still prefer the position where he controls the inning. But I think this is the template that the team has decided for him, and based on which they're making him open. And he said, okay, whatever the team wants, I'll do it. And that's where he's playing. And that's how he's playing.
Yep. So, Nikhil, now, do you have any idea like when is the Indian team departing for Barbados? Are they leaving tonight or are they leaving tomorrow?
They were scheduled to leave tomorrow, but I won't be surprised if they leave today. Just to let you know why all of this is happening. A lot of places, teams have traveled at a very short notice because all teams are flying via chartered plane organized by the ICC. So, like the USA team after their Pakistan upset was supposed to leave the next day. Suddenly Pakistan decided they want to leave the same day. So the US team was in the same charter because 2 teams traveled together. So they had to leave the same day. Indian team did the same after their last game in New York. They were supposed to leave the next day, but after the game, that they had, they said, no, let's leave today, and they left the same day. So it can be changed at the 11th hour because you're all flying by chartered plane. So it is, but actually the Indian team is scheduled to travel tomorrow to Barbados. And they can afford to do that because there's a bit of a gap now between their next game, which is what fans were mentioning. They're pretty upset about the fact that the gap now was anyway long. It's increased because you've not seen any Canada game too. So the gap to the next game is pretty long now.
Yeah, it's about a week because 12th and then you last played on the 12th and now you're going to play directly on the 20th. And
8 days.
8 days. So if you're leaving today, it's better that you acclimatize to Barbados pretty quickly because you only have 4 more days of action. And then after that you play Afghanistan, which is A1. And so that's why, well, I mean, this kind of arrangement I think works fine. I think the sooner you reach Barbados, the better it will be for the Indian team.
Nikhil, we were talking about, rating this USA leg the way it's been, looking at it basis venues as well as overall. Just what are your quick thoughts on what exactly the thought process has been, even not just with you, but even, the press circle that is traveling there. I don't think it's been a very happy experience for a lot of people. If fans are frustrated, I'm pretty sure even the press there would have been very disappointed. And you can correct me if I'm wrong.
No, they are. I think, I wouldn't say the press is disappointed because, again, for us, it's just coverage in that sense. So I think the players would be disappointed. But the press, the word I would want to use is that press is very critical at the moment of how the games have been organized, or rather the lack of organization that they've seen so far. Because again, I know you're trying to spread the sport here, but is this the best way to do it? No, you have to be on the ball. You have to be on the ball to ensure that there are no hiccups as such. I think the only saving grace in this USA leg, I think there are only 2 things that stand out. The biggest criticism has to be directed towards the ICC. So one, to have decided to have the World Cup here and then have it in the way they did. I don't think they were prepared from the way they prepared their pitches, which they lied about preparing it in Adelaide, but were prepared in Florida. Tells you the casual attitude that the ICC had overall. Then organizing games in places where there was rain, that's all right. You get rain everywhere in the world, but not having, the equipments in place to ensure that with how you deal with that rain and ensure you have the game. I think that's where they've been found wanting. As I said, the only saving grace has been, one, the fans. I think they've made it worthwhile. They've turned up in large number. They've paid good bucks. The cricket fans settled in the US to come to the game. And that's nothing to do with the ICC. In fact, the ICC tried their best to ensure fans don't turn in because the ticketing was so bad. Tickets weren't available. They're crazily priced, so expensive. Even forget the ones being sold in black, even the ones in regular. So everything that could have gone wrong in terms of organization did go wrong. So, I think that is something that you'll have to look at critically. And I guess the ICC themselves will have to sit and take note of who organized it, who was responsible. If it was a team, then I think you'll need to deal with them too, because it's not been great organization. As I said, saving grace have been fans who, despite poor organization, have turned up in large number. And the second bit has been the performance of the USA team on the field, which also the organizers have nothing to do with it. That's down to the players and Cricket USA. These two things have been the saving grace of having cricket here. Other than that, the ICC did its best to ensure that this was going to be a bad experience, that this was going to be a disaster.
Yeah, so yes, a bad experience indeed if you look at it. But yeah, the ratings wise, we all had given. I think I rated the US leg 2 out of 10, barring Dallas.
Yeah.
I think Lauderhill, unfortunately, didn't see any games. Maybe tomorrow you may see one game, Pakistan Ireland, that's happening in Lauderhill, by the way.
The whole week is a rain forecast, so
Rain
it's probably not
forecast.
very
So there
good.
was no rain tomorrow predicted, but
Yeah,
even
but
there was
we don't
no
know
rain
how-
yesterday, nor today, but the game still didn't happen.
Yeah, you want sunshine. That is the only way you'll have a semblance of a chance. Otherwise, you don't have a chance for hosting any games, and you'll have a 4-zip in Lauderhill. No games whatsoever. And that's what today you'll see Group B finally decided. Namibia England or Scotland. That will be the key. And Group D will be decided tomorrow with either Bangladesh or the Netherlands at this
Possibly
point.
Monday morning IST.
Monday morning IST indeed. And according to Nikhil, India might leave today for Barbados, where they will play Afghanistan. C1, A1 versus C1 will be on 20th in that sense. So
When are you traveling to the Caribbean, sir?
Sorry, come again, Shashwat?
When are you traveling with the team itself, today or tomorrow?
Tomorrow. We're scheduled to travel there tomorrow, Barbados. We've got our reservations done for Barbados. We didn't have any, and then to Antigua. We didn't have any reservations from Antigua to St. Lucia for India's final game. That was going to feature Australia. Now that's been sorted. So we are reaching St. Lucia for the Australia game. But after that, there is a lot of problem in getting.
We seem to have lost.
There is visa issues as always for the Indian team. I mean, for the Indian journalists, because see,
We can send
CARICOM, it's quite complicated in that sense. So that is why, ouch. I hope his visa issues are sorted. But for us, it's game over here after a long discussion.
And with the US leg done and dusted.
Except for one game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about from the India perspective.
Yeah, India perspective,
Yes,
it's
okay.
done. Yep. So, thank you so much, folks, for joining us in this game. India, Canada abandoned without a ball being bowled, but we had a lot of fun interacting with Nikhil and the fans. And
I guess our interaction was more fun than whatever you were getting to witness in Florida.
Exactly.
Not even hyperbole.
Yep. So from me, Shashwat, Shane, and Sid Gulati, it is bye-bye. Subscribe to Sports Today, please, for all the latest news and analysis from what you will get from the Caribbean now, not from the US, from the Caribbean.
Anymore.
And Shubh Ratri, Shabba Khair, Vanakkam. Eat your vegetables and
don't trouble your mother.
don't trouble your mother. So bye-bye.
And also remember one thing, to counter a set V, you always need a set G.
This the kya kalam's gonna now stick on. Yeah. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.